Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law Explaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. Yes, I know. I know I'm muted. I know. I know I'm muted. I know. I don't know why the mic was Who knows? Computer's been off for 4 days. Who knows? It worked. It worked yesterday when I was on the Cecil show. Then I get on my own show and it doesn't work. That's how it goes. Oh my goodness. So anyways, what is up, guys? How are we doing today? Oh, goodness gracious. It is nice to be back home. It is nice to be back home. I as you know, settled into this chair. This usurper chair, this home wrecker of a chair. Getting settled in. As you probably know, hopefully, I was in Seattle for the past, over the weekend, really, and doing something that hopefully I'll be able to, talk about soon. But for now, must remain strictly under wraps. But so I was on the road. I don't always like being on the road. I like being home. I like my space. And it is what it is. It is what it is. Guys, I can tell when it's muted and when it's not, okay? You little clever assholes out there. I don't want that. It's off. Trying to get, oh my God. Can I get signed back? What's it? Fucking bug? Oh, you know what? No, I want to be back on the road because nothing's working. Nothing's working. My Streamlabs is not hooked up here. Oh no, it was trying to remember which YouTube, which thing it's under. Because I had to, I fucking hate Streamlabs, by the way. I'm about completely done with Streamlabs. I think I'm going to switch to Stream Elements or something. Because, again, of all the places that I broadcast and all the mean and nasty things that I do and say, the only two to ban me are Twitter and Streamlabs. And both of those can eat shit. So anyway. All right. But no, I don't have an unauthorized use or a virus. I just had to re-log in and remember what it was logged into. So, back though. Back here, back in the vault, and we come back to good news. We come back to good news. And the good news is that Joshua Moon has had a victory in court over the mountain Kabbalah practicing chosen persons. And that is Melinda Scott. So, if you don't remember this case, I think the last filing was in March. And we've been just waiting and waiting to see. But Yahweh did not bestow his favor upon Melinda Scott. It's two. It's two of the chosen vying for the attention of G-D. And so But we finally do have a decision in that case, and it's a doozy. I mean, it's a good doozy for Josh, and so we're going to talk about it. Actually, it's good for everybody in the case except Melinda Scott. It's really terrible for her. It's really bad for her, but it's good for everybody. It could be worse for her. You know, she didn't get what she deserved, but she didn't win. So that's good. So we're going to go through that. It's only a 3-page decision, and you can tell that the judge has had, quote unquote, enough of her shit, which is, I'm surprised it took this long. Get me centered. I'm the most important thing on my own screen. There we go. All right, then we got a weird thing with the Department of Education and mask mandates, which is actually, it's the opposite of mask mandates. It's mask unmandates. And the Department of Education is saying that mask unmandates may violate students' rights, and it's is investigating 5 different states. Now, if you are baffled at all at how a government not mandating something can somehow infringe upon rights, you're not alone. We live in bizarro world. We live in the stupidest timeline possible. And so, yes, the Department of Education is investigating 5 states like Texas and Florida, for example, who said that a school district cannot mandate masks. Now, can a child wear a mask in school? Yes. Yes, in every case, I believe yes is the answer to that. So you tell me how that infringes on the child's rights of free expression or whatever, and I don't know. I guess I need to be educated. Maybe I just don't know how to do it in 2021. So we got that. We're going to talk about Flynn, about General Flynn getting ramrodded by Chase Bank, because that's the new vogue right now, is to remove people from the financial system. That's a big topic that I'm going to probably have to talk a little bit more about tonight. I did a short video on it, but we got to discuss and hash these things out. On Wednesday, Legal Bites will be on the show. We'll be discussing Dr. Disrespect through the lens of Phantom Lord. If you don't know who Legal Bites is, she is a female attorney. She is a growing channel on the YouTubes, but she's a little newer to the circuit, and she has been on shows with Uncivil Law, with Eric Hunley, with Nate the Lawyer, I think Joe Neerman. Anyway, seems good. I don't know. Haven't talked to her yet. I mean, I talked to her in DMs, but we'll talk on the stream and figure that out. So that'll be good. And yeah, well, she I believe she's very familiar with the Phantom Lord versus Twitch case, which is what we want to kind of frame. We want to frame this in that discussion because it's one of the first successful lawsuits against a big tech deplatforming. And so, you take notes when you get a W. You take notes when you get a W. And does anybody know where Eldon Bainling is? Does anybody know? Is he salty? Is that what's going on? I haven't seen him in a while. Do we have some RGE raiders here in the chat? Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, RGE? Hope you're doing well. Okay. What's up, Sheila? How you doing? Sheila, this is, well, do you like how Americans say Sheila, or do you like how, like, Australians, those fake people say, like, Sheila or whatever? What's the preferred pronunciation of Sheila? I don't know the answer to this, and that's what I do need to understand. So just let me know whenever you get around to it. I'm just curious. Because in Australia, that's like not even a name. That's like just a term or a phrase. Sheila. Okay, so like American style. Okay, and the other important thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but on oh god, hey, what's up? Bearing's in the chat. How's it going, buddy? Nice to see you. Okay, so you guys may not know this, and then we're gonna get the stream started, like started in a second. But you know I have to waste 20 minutes. It's not real if I don't waste 20 minutes. Everywhere in LA takes 20 minutes. Sorry, flashbacks to Clueless. If you don't know, on Wednesday, there's some giant protest happening where like no one is streaming on Twitch because they're protesting against hate or something on Twitch, I think. So they're all not streaming on Twitch on the 1st of September, which is Wednesday. All right? So I am pro hate, and so we are going to stream during the day on Wednesday on Twitch. I don't know how long. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to be on Twitch to protest the protest. Look, hate has gotten a bad rap lately. I stand with hate. All right, we've got to support it. Too many people are turning their back on their longtime friend. Look, these people have loved hate forever, and now they're out there. They're like, oh no, I've never met that guy. I don't know who hate is, and he's like sitting there in the rain, his little puppy ears like down, dripping over his head, like some dog the Americans left in Afghanistan. Oh, did I drop that in there? Shit. But anyway, yeah. So I am not a believer in protest. And so as a non-believer in protest, I feel like it's my obligation to stream when everybody else is not. So that's going to happen on Wednesday during the day on Twitch. And it'll probably be a fairly long stream. I'm probably just going to I know, I'll be like the best Twitch streamers. I'll rub sandpaper on the microphone. I'll go to sleep or whatever. I don't know, but we're going to do that. Since you're pro hate, you should get a hold of Larry Correa already. Yeah, I know. I need to have him on. I really do. But okay, we'll do something on Wednesday. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but we're going to do something. Finally, Gothic X and I are talking about when to do a show, and I will keep you posted on that. I think that's everything. So, without further ado, let's hit these chats and get to it. I think that's important to do. There was there was a couple. I hear yelling. I think my kids are out of bed. They're not very good at going to bed. I think there were a couple pre-stream chats that we got to hit before I lose those. Okay. Here we go. Dragon's Treasure says Tuesday is the last day for the Dragon's Treasure 6-year anniversary sale. Rackets gets 5%. Every $50 gets you a free 50-gram bag. No cakes involved. So there you go. A 50-gram bag every $50. That sounds like a cocaine deal, but I think he's referring to tea. So you can check that out at thedragonstreasure.com. A haven for tea and redacted lovers, since all of the anime companies sued him. Not really, but kind of. Wolfgang Deo says, Vic news. No. Did you hear about Kenichi Mirage, the Berserk guy dying? How about Vax? Fudas or no Fudas on balls? By the way, wiener measure is actual maths. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I hate you for the rest of that. Wolfgang Deo says, did you hear Amazon no longer ships to the unvaxxed? That's not true. I don't think so anyway. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, yes. Thank you to all who showed up to my impromptu streams in Seattle. The one where Ty and I were desperately trying to keep our guest from talking about vaccines for no reason, because no one actually wants to talk about them. People have made up their minds. But yes, I shouldn't say our guest, our host. And it was like, can you, let's just not talk about that, though. We can talk about anything else in the world. That was great. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, yes. And I know everybody went to Who Are These Podcasts? And I wish I could have gone, but this was the day for the Seattle trip. So that's just unfortunately how it went. I would have loved to go. A bunch of people I like are there and would have loved to see them. Okay. Yes. Couple more chats. Provolone Loaf says, missed you in Chicago for Who Are These Podcasts? It was great. Karl and the gang were wonderful. Masterson was funny. And Karl got served papers. Check your email under summons and complaint. Enjoy, and Kevin will be watching. Who the hell's Kevin? Wait, I got... Did these come... Wait, you're saying they're here right now? Check that email. Let's see. Here it is. Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Oh, my goodness. Okay, we're not going to go through those right now. Tina says, I don't think Joe Biden would boomer the audio as much as you do. Come on, man. That was like, that was 4 or 5 days ago. Trump Willis is my name. Says, look, whoever that guy was in Seattle is a commie and enjoys the jabs. It looks like Ty does too. What's up with that? No, Ty's explained this several times. A lot of Ty's clientele are older, and he said he made a business decision. You know, if you work with people that need you to be vaccinated for their own comfort, then sometimes you just take the jab so you can actually work. But that's there you go. Stegus says, hey Nick, I just wanted to say it was great to meet you here in Seattle on Saturday. If you're ever in this degenerate hellhole again, we'll have to get you out to the mountains where it's not covered in homeless. The homeless was crazy in Seattle. The homelessness issue was very, very crazy. So it was awkward. Now, most of the time I was not in Seattle. I was on Bainbridge Island or somewhere near there. Poulsbo, these fucking towns. But Bainbridge Island, I took the boat from Bainbridge Island to Seattle. And when you get into Seattle, immediately, there's like this bridge, long freaking walkway from the boat dock to the town, and immediately homeless everywhere, just homeless all over. It was everywhere. There was a homeless tent on the bridge, on the walkway bridge. Some guy, he set up those little metal barriers. They're about 3 feet tall. They're like temporary fencing. He stole a couple of those, I guess, and he sectioned off a piece of the walkway bridge and put up a tent. You know, for being homeless, some of these people had some nice tents, and others just had garbage tents. I don't know. It was amazing. I couldn't imagine living in a tent anywhere. I hate being in tents. My idea of camping is to go to the woods and then find a hotel nearby. God, what a trashy way to be. The nice tents are stolen. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, we got to meet a couple people and have a good time at Owl and Thistle, a nice little Irish pub right by the ferry dock. I don't know what that says about the Irish, but it was right there, and had some drinks, I had some stew, and then I had some chicken fingers or something. It was good. I liked it. Had a good time. Stegus says that fenced off spot on the walkway is all that remains of Chaz. So there you go. User unknown. Yeah, I saw that. Okay. That's it. Let's get into this important stuff here. Let's get into the important streaming topics. Very, very important to be on task at all times. I need to get this set up in a specific way. Here we go. Over here. Over here. This one. Almost there. Oh, and I just want to say one more time, Daniella Pineda is fat. And again, it's not. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being, and she is in that state of mind and that state of being. So she doesn't deserve much of anything. I don't know if you guys saw her whiny bitch fest. Maybe we can watch that later. Maybe we can watch that. How fat is she? Oh, I'll show you. You haven't seen, I suppose. You've not seen. There we go. Now you know. Now you know. This is Faye Valentine. So just want to point that out. This little action right here. This photographer hates her. This photographer hates her quite a bit. I didn't mess with the thigh at all. Like, that's a whole lot of real estate, and that's all hers. Okay, the stomach is yeah, I put the stomach on there. That was the joke. Is that stumble around her? Yeah, that's the joke. But the thighs, though, that's all that's real. That's real. So anyway, maybe we'll watch her little rant later. God, it's awful. Okay, so here we go. This is from Null, the operator of KiwiFarms.net. This is today, 3:54 p.m. Hey, what's up? Midnight's Edge After Dark. How's it going, Tom? We've got 3 pages here, but let's see what he says. He says, dismissed with prejudice. If she pursues again in another jurisdiction, I will press for attorney's fees and I'll hire Ethan Ralph to be my debt collector. So this is in response to, they were just talking about how long this is taking earlier today, and then out comes the decision. So here we go. No, I do want to read that. I just didn't want this stupid fucking thing. All right, we got three pages of documents to read. Very short, but all very important. Lamer5799 says, speaking of Washington, did you hear useless Inslee canceled all jury trials in the state? I got jury duty, but when I checked in Friday, I was told the panels in my county were canceled by order of the governor. No, I didn't hear that. That's great. I mean, who needs a jury trial ever? God, it was fucking bug. You know that you get that where you're doing something and there's some just little shit bug flying around, getting in your face. Oh, God, I hate them. Can we kill all the insects? Nobody needs insects. Tovu Hazard says, you should have taken the Bremerton boat to Polsbo. I'd have given you a tour of the ship. Oh, that'd be cool. But I didn't. That's not where my people dropped me off and picked me up, so I didn't know. Okay, here we go. Melinda Scott, pro se plaintiff, and then Matthew D. Harden, Washington, D.C., for defendant Joshua Moon. Matthew Harden being Josh's attorney. The defendant, sued for intentional infliction of emotional distress, has filed a motion to dismiss. This is a weird phrasing of the... It's a weird writing style for the judge, but, you know, there's a comma after defendant, so it's okay. For the reasons set forth herein, I will grant the motion and dismiss this action with prejudice. Melinda Scott, a frequent pro se litigant in this and other courts, filed this action in forma pauperis, asserting two separate causes of action. In forma pauperis means all of her filing fees were paid for by the court, by the taxpayers. The good people of Virginia paid for all of these pointless filings. Let's see. The first, against the Wise County Department of Social Services, was previously dismissed on the ground that it was immune from suit under 42 U.S.C. 1983. Opinion in order number 6, October 15, 2020. The second claim, a pendant state cause of action, is against defendant Joshua Moon and 4 John or Jane Doe defendants. It is asserted that Moon is the owner of a website in which the John or Jane Doe defendants posted derogatory remarks about the plaintiff, and they and Moon each are responsible for contributing to the malicious phone call made to Wise County Department of Social Services that resulted in a home visit to the plaintiff's house on June 22nd, 2020. The plaintiff alleges that as a result, she experienced extreme emotional distress, including anger and rage. Anger and rage that's extreme right there. Hold on, I need to change this. So I'm looking at my main monitor. I don't want to crick in my neck. Okay. So, she is suing for intentional infliction of emotional distress, right? Caused by a phone call to the Department of Social Services. Now, as a matter of general principle, phone calls made with any level of good faith, reporting people to law enforcement or some sort of government agency out of a good faith care and concern for the wellness of someone else, are pretty much going to be immune to a lawsuit like this. Just in general. Now, we have, that's based on, oh my goodness. What that's based on is this idea that, petitioning a government is something that is you know, a right. It's something everyone can do. Hold on, can we? Oh, I know what's going on here. Hold on, I'm noticing something and it's annoying me. It's throwing me off. My apologies, sort of. There we go. My camera was bleeding over into the other frame. It was driving me nuts. All right. So typically speaking, if you're calling the police on someone, that's not going to be a harassment or a tortious interference or a intentional infliction of emotional distress, as long as you have a good faith means of doing so. Now, some people have taken that protection to its logical conclusion, which is swatting, right? And there is some place in which those change over, where the action is bad, where it goes too far. So, and they probably need to look at this and sort of develop this out in the age of the internet. But right now, the way courts are set up, you're going to have an extremely difficult case trying to say one phone call to anything is actually harassing or is intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, I'm not saying that it's right, because and you know, a lot of people can have done some really lame things with swatting and with calling CPS on people. I think it's a terrible, terrible thing to do personally, but it's going to be hard to argue that the opposite. It just is. The plaintiff has sought to sue Moon twice before in this court. In the earlier pro se actions, she also complained of alleged defamatory web postings for which she asserted Moon was responsible, causing her emotional distress. In the present case, the plaintiff adds the allegation that Moon contributed to the phone call to Department of Social Services. All right. So, under Virginia law, so that's what happened. Now she's going to explain the law behind it. And this is going to go straight into a simple analysis on intentional infliction of emotional distress. And you have to understand, this is a very hard tort to win. This was intended to provide an avenue of recovery to someone who is not directly harmed by the actions of another, but where they intentionally inflict harm on someone else for the purposes of causing severe distress in another party. You can think of running over someone's kid right in front of them on purpose, right? Torturing or beating a family member of someone and forcing them to watch. Those types of actions are what we're talking about. We're talking about causing significant harm to someone to cause them distress is kind of the idea here. It's not limited to that in any way, but that's what I want to impress upon you is the severity of harm we're talking about for intentional infliction of emotional distress. And one of the things that we're going to get to in the elements, which I'll elaborate on, is how the court looks at this. So first, under Virginia law, a plaintiff alleging intentional infliction of emotional distress must prove the following elements. The wrongdoer's conduct was intentional or reckless. Okay, that's the intentional infliction. There is a negligent infliction of emotional distress, much harder to get to, but this is intentional. So, number 2, and this is really important, the conduct was outrageous and intolerable, which means it goes beyond the expected bounds of social decency. It can't just be something that makes you mad. It has to be so far beyond the pale that polite society would not tolerate it. That's why one call to CPS, even a malicious one, is going to be hard to qualify for IIED because society tolerates calls to CPS, Child Protective Services, even if they maybe shouldn't. All right? So it's going to be really, really hard to get to that outrageous and intolerable thing. Now, if they're calling every week, if they're lying about what's going on, if they're doing something like swatting where they're reporting an extreme situation that happens to be false, we might get there. We might get there. Number 3, the alleged wrongful conduct and emotional distress are causally connected. Okay, so the bad act has to cause the significant emotional distress, and the distress has to be severe. And typically, what you have to do to show the distress is severe, at least in Minnesota, but I believe in other jurisdictions as well, is you have to have documented injury from the distress. A sickness, a hospitalization, visits to your doctor, therapy sessions, something to catalog some sort of damage that you've received. And typically a financial damage will go along with the emotional damage to show the severity of the emotional harm, right? So, well, it cost me $900 sessions of therapy and I had to go to them twice a week or whatever because I just couldn't handle it. I lost my job because of how this made me feel. The person put me in such dire straits that all of, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what's going on. So the question the court is faced with here is, did this one phone call do this to this weirdo? No, of course it didn't do this to this weirdo. It didn't do this in any way. So the second element requires that the conduct was so outrageous in character and so extreme in degree as to go beyond all possible bounds of decency and to be regarded as atrocious and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. So that's what I was talking about earlier. It has to be really bad. The plaintiff's allegations do not meet the test of Virginia law. This is great because I keep calling the judge a she for some reason. The judge, James P. Jones, he doesn't even bother, right? He doesn't lay out like a long examination of the 4 elements and what the plaintiff has claimed. Nope, they don't meet it. Piss off. Moreover, it is clear that she is speculating that Moon was involved in some way in the call to the local Department of Social Services. She had no proof that Josh participated in that in any way. I will grant the motion to dismiss as to defendant Moon. Because the plaintiff's allegations are wholly insufficient, I will also dismiss the claims against the John and Jane Does pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1915E2B2. Particularly in light of the plaintiff's repetitive, meritless filings on the subjects, I will dismiss this action with prejudice. Now, what a judge might do in this situation based on the complaint that Melinda wrote, and particularly in regards to a pro se litigant. Let's say they had a pro se litigant who hasn't been involved in 5 of these lawsuits against Joshua Moon before, but just a one-time pro se litigant, right? They would dismiss this without prejudice, or maybe offer the plaintiff leave to amend the filings and include sufficient detail to show how they actually meet those 4 elements. They would do something to allow them to bring back the suit and the cause of action. But this is dismissed with prejudice, which means Melinda Scott is not able to sue over anything that is included in this case. It's gone. It's done. The defamation, the IIED, all of that stuff, she cannot bring suit again on any of these materials. It is chopped off at this point. So it is finished. To quote the character that both of those people hate, Jesus, it is finished. So it is ordered that the motion to dismiss is granted. A separate judgment will be entered herewith. So done, finito. Finally, this case is bookended and it's gone. Now, if she does file another one, of course, there would be, there's nothing actually stopping her except for hopefully a little bit of common sense, which for her is not common. For her, it's not common at all. She she has no problem filing these meritless and frivolous lawsuits. She's done it a whole bunch. Now, the judge did not issue any sort of sanction against her. He did not label her a vexatious litigant. I don't know that I think they hinted at it in their filings, but I don't know that they filed any particular motions. I don't know if they plan to pursue it any further. I think Josh is probably happy to have it just go away because he had counsel on this one, actual competent counsel, and I'm sure this actually cost, a good deal of cheddar. And no one wants to pay for this stuff. But yes, it is done now, which is great. And Melinda, I told you were going to lose. We talked about it on the show. You got to stop. You got to stop this. It's not the way to go about it. You're doing terrible at all of this, so knock it off. So there we go. That was the ballad of Joshua Moon. It's really not a long case to talk about. There was not much to say. One thing I want to point out, though, is this was an interesting test because what you did have in this case was a default judgment. That's what made this one so interesting. She lied to the court, and then she actually said that Josh was properly served when he was not. That was a problem with the initial issue, is that he was not properly served. Now, frankly, this should have been dismissed based on the improper service. However, there's this weird thing where even if you make a special appearance for the point of dismissing the action for improper service, you can get roped into the action. And so that's what happened. It's honestly probably for the best that was the case. That now they'll just go ahead and resolve the issue. And now it's being dismissed with prejudice on the merits rather than being dismissed without prejudice, only to have her lie to the court again and get some default judgment again. But she lied to the court about the propriety of the service to get them to issue a default judgment. And there she thought she won. People think that default judgments are unassailable because they are a judgment against you. And believe me, you don't want a default judgment. But you typically have to engage or refuse to engage in a pretty egregious way before they're going to actually give you a default judgment and enforce it against you if you go and try and fight it on the merits. The courts are to be pretty flexible on rectifying default judgments so long as people try to take action to rectify them within a reasonable amount of time, which kind of the standard rule on that is about a year. Now, Josh engaged in this much quicker than that. And so that was very much to his advantage to go ahead and try and address it right away. But this just goes to show you how weirdly broken the system can be, is that you can get default judgments by just lying to the court. That's all she did. And that's why we have an adversarial system, because we saw how much better it worked out for Josh once he started fighting against it. And the court was required to engage both sides of the story. Now, Melinda, of course, will swear that the judge didn't listen to her. She accused the judge of misogyny. She accused the judge of having a conflict of interest and all this stuff. By the way, it's not the best way to win a case. Just as a pro tip, it's not the best way to win a case to say that the judge is only ruling against you because you're a woman and the judge hates women. The judge is not going to suddenly be on your side after you do that. Zara BP. Oh, very interesting. Says Billy Mitchell just had his case dismissed in a default judgment for failure to respond to the motion to dismiss. Yeah, and that's a little bit different. Now, the question is, was he served? I'm sure they they asserted service and put some sort of verification on it. He may have a counter argument, but yeah, it looks like things have not been going well in court for Billy Mitchell. Things have not been going well at all for them. John Doe says, will you go over the Ethan Ralph court case happening on the 10th? Legal defense is that hackers leaked the tape. Is this the whatchamacallit? The revenge porn thing? Is that? Maybe as far as Billy Mitchell, I'll have to reach out to Karl Jobst and see what's been going on. I know Biden says he made a video on it. I haven't been following any of it, but you know, it might be good to have him back on. I like that guy. He's super nice. So we'll maybe be able to talk to him about it. I don't know. Yeah, so Ralph's thing is on the 10th. Okay. I'm happy to cover it. I don't know if anybody has links to any documents or whatever. The September 10th hearing is counsel assignment / arraignment for Ralph. Nothing. Okay, that sounds boring. But I mean, if there's a link to watch it, I mean, we could watch it. That sounds great. Any updates in the Comicsgate copyright suit? So far, the trademark suit, I guess, or the defamation suit, both of those. I know that Dean has filed a motion to dismiss. So has Ethan. We'll have to see. I haven't really followed up because, again, I was in Seattle. I wasn't looking at this stuff. I was having a good time. Actually, Thursday, drank way too much, which was great. So Friday was a whole different thing. Friday was a whole day of just trying to get the sour alcohol taste out of my stomach. Stooge Muffin Stuffin says Daniella Pineda is an entitled redacted. She twisted the words of fans just to get woke points. F you, Daniella, and F you, Netflix, you cheese pizza eating mother effers. Hashtag fake Valentine. And then some angry emojis. Very angry emojis. Yeah, I'll check out the Comicsgate stuff. The other big case activity is Chris Avalone's case is moving along. Chris Avalone won his he won against the motion to quash. He won against a motion to change venue, and then his motion to dismiss, I believe, or their special motion to strike, which is California's anti-slap, is that got a date. That got a date. So that's that. Let's check this out. Let's see how wrong this place got. We'll throw in this Daniel Pineda thing real quick. I even showed Lady Rackets. I said, you remember Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop? She's like, yeah, of course. Who doesn't remember Faye? And I said, here's who they cast. And she looked at her and she says, that's not Faye. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Now, some of you are not anime weebs, so you don't know who Faye is. So I'm gonna show. We'll show all of this stuff here. We'll get everybody on board because this is important. Here we go. Here we are. So this is Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop. This is an anime girl, right? Like it's the anime girl body. We've all seen it. This is what Faye looks like in the show. Now, this is what they cast as Faye Valentine. So, reminder. Real. All right? Notice how literally nothing about her looks like Faye. It's nothing about her looks like Faye. It's not like people are mad that they got some small aspect of her wrong. There's nothing about her that looks like Faye. Zero. She doesn't have the right body shape. Does not just mean she's not chesty enough. She's not long and lean. And Faye is long and lean. Okay? She has thin arms. You can't see it. Here. You never know what comes up on Google search, so I gotta let's see a picture of her with her legs, because this is an important part of Faye, is her overall aesthetic. Hold on. Here we go. This is important. Notice her thighs are thin. She has a long and lean body. That is the whole point of Faye. She's tall. She uses her charm and her looks to get into things. She is not a fighter. She is not an action girl. All right? This girl doesn't look like that. She never has. And that's okay. That's not actually Daniella Pineda's fault that she doesn't look like Faye. It's the fault of the casting director. No, and it's important. I did not say Faye is tall. I said she's long. She has a long figure. She has, she's 5'6". Okay? That's going to come into play in a little bit. This chick does not have a long, lean figure. And it's not her fault. It's the casting director's fault. It's the director's fault, the casting director, whoever had any decision making. She should never have been hired. No one wants her to be different. I said tall. Okay, I mean long and lean. Lithe, that's a good one. A 5 years ago Victoria's Secret model. That's what Faye should look like. Frankly. That 5 years ago, Victoria's Secret, done. But this girl should never have been hired. Look, she's got the fucking woke eyes going. You can see it. Also, this is ultimately a race swap. I guess we're supposed to ignore that, but this is a race swap. Faye is Singaporean. I don't think Daniella Pineda is a Singapore name. But, so here we go. Cowboy Bebop actress dunks on fans who are mad her costume doesn't resemble the anime version. I don't think that's the complaint people have. Doing stunts in tissue paper, things disappear. Faye does not wear tissue paper. She's wearing a fabric. It looks like some sort of pleather style fabric or something akin to that because it's shiny. And most cloth is not, and tissue paper is not shiny either. All right. Earlier this week, Netflix debuted the first look of its highly anticipated live-action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop. And fans had plenty of thoughts about everything from John Cho rocking a pristine blue suit. It's not a pristine blue suit. I actually don't like the way. I know it's the look of John Cho's or of Spike's character, but I don't like the way it sits on John Cho. It looks weird to me. It's the problem with anime looks being brought into the real world. Like, they don't ever look right to me. All right. And his best anime hat as Spike's hair as Spike Spiegel, to the adorable corgi playing Ein the Data Dog. I mean, without Ed though, Mine doesn't make as much sense. But the reaction of the show's female lead has been more mixed, leading to some comments highlighting some sexist double standards, including from the actress playing her. Wait, what double standards? What double standards? We'll see if they have the double of the standard listed, because I'm pretty sure it's just one fucking standard. Like, have it look good. Try that. In the Cowboy Bebop anime, the outfit worn by the bounty hunter Faye Valentine is revealing. She dons a low-cut yellow top, matching yellow shorts, a flimsy set of suspenders, nude stockings, white ankle boots, and a loose red shirt. That was partially by design in the anime. Faye used her body to distract others long enough for her to pull one over on them. Okay, they figured that out. Why aren't they doing that in the show? That's the character. But you know what's going to happen. They're going to have action scenes where Faye is not using her body to distract others, but using her tough girl attitude and probably some punches, and I'm sure some really fucking stupid leg throws are coming too. In the first look photos, Daniella Pineda, who's playing Faye on the show, has a yellow shirt and red coat that homage the anime character's primary look. That's where the similarities end. On the show, Faye has knee-high boots, black stockings instead of nude-colored black shorts. Or black stockings instead of nude-colored black shorts, and her shirt isn't designed to be as titillating on its own. No, it's not on its own. What? You don't need on its own. There is no on its own. Faye's shirt in the anime isn't titillating on its own. It's titillating because there's some C cups behind it. That's the whole point. As Cowboy Bebop writer Javier Grillo Marsach told IO9 last year in regard to Faye's costume, we need to have a real human being wearing that. Oh, gee, I wonder if a real human being could possibly pull off the actual look. I wonder if a real human being could even come close to looking like Faye Valentine does, in real life. Let's see. Let's see if that's possible anywhere. I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling though, maybe someone has pulled it off before. Maybe someone figured out how to look like Faye Valentine. I'm not sure if anybody's figured this out. Notice, long, thin legs, long torso, thin arms, decent sized chest. I mean, come on. This is not, and that's just a cosplayer, right? This is with all the resources of Netflix at their disposal. They couldn't find anybody. Try Googling. The changes to Faye's costume were in part logistical, but for some Cowboy Bebop fans who wanted or expected Netflix to reproduce a replica of Faye's costume from the anime, the outfit for the show was a disappointment. Yeah, they recreated Spike's. It'd be a lot easier for Spike Spiegel in real life to move like Spike in not a suit. John Cho's suit is not conducive to action sequences. Soon after the photos came out, Pineda addressed detractors on her Instagram stories, where she offered an apology for not looking or dressing exactly like the anime version of Faye Valentine. Okay, no, we're gonna watch it. I'm gonna force you guys to watch this trash. Here we go.
Hey guys.
Okay, yeah, I have it.
So as you know, our Cowboy Bebop first look dropped today, which was so exciting. And I just wanted to address a couple of things that sort of keep coming up in the comments amongst fans. First, I wanted to apologize to the fans that I did not anatomically match the Faye Valentine character.
Yes, that's a problem. Again, it's not your fault that you don't match them. That's not what anybody's asking. They're saying you shouldn't have the job at all, and you shouldn't. You're terrible.
6 foot, double D size breast, 2-inch waist.
She's not 6 foot. She doesn't have double D size breasts, and she doesn't have a 2-inch waist. She's just a size 0, honey. They exist. They're all over the place. They're great.
They looked everywhere for that woman, and they couldn't find her. It's kind of...
How could you not? Just go to a beach. Go to literally any beach. Go to any nightclub. You don't even have to go to New York or LA. You can go to Dallas, Omaha, anywhere in the country, anywhere outside of the country, any nightclub, you can find that girl. It's that body shape. I remember this stat from a long time ago. I was watching, this is when they were first attacking Victoria's Secret, and we're talking years ago. I mean, I don't think I was even out of high school yet. And they were talking about the unattainable, unfair body standards that Victoria's Secret was setting. And they said, here's the stat. This will blow you away. All right? It blew me away. They said that the unattainable body standard of the Victoria's Secret model is one that only 10% of women have. Only 1 in 10 women have the body shape of a Victoria's Secret model. And they couldn't find it. Only 1 in 10? That means in the US alone, there's roughly 17 million women with that body shape. And they couldn't find one, I guess, though. It's tough.
Weird. So they just went with my short ass. I know. Am I right? You know, there was talk about, like, can
if your ass was shorter, it'd be better.
We put Daniella in a time machine and maybe give her different parents so she has different genetic information to sort of make her look better. It proved to be too complicated. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was
No, not casting you. Just not casting you. That's all that needed to be done. Casting anybody else who looked more like Faye. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot wrong with her attitude. There's a lot wrong with her demeanor, with the way she's approaching fans. This is why I'm calling her fat now, because she's got a fat attitude. There's a lot wrong with that. Prior to her saying any of this, there's nothing wrong with her. Again, it's not her fault that they did this. They cast the wrong person.
to apologize that the outfit I'm wearing is not.
Twin Tails 100, they couldn't find one that could act. Yes, they can. They absolutely could. First of all, if you think this, oh God, a demonic pause. If you think this thing is going to be a good actress, I got news. But you know what? I know they can find someone who can act. Do you guys remember Mystique, by the way? Rebecca Romaine Stamos? They were able to find someone to play Mystique and to do quite a bit of action shots and action sequences in quite a bit less. Are we suggesting that they couldn't find someone on the caliber of Mystique? Like, we're not looking for Meryl Streep acting chops here to play Faye in an anime remake on Netflix, right? Like, this is not an Oscar-winning performance. We need someone who can read some lines and do some stuff. That's it. It's like, we're not talking about the hardest acting job on the planet to play Faye Valentine.
Not exactly what she wears in the anime. We tried. No,
you didn't.
But doing stunts.
They didn't try. Again, this is an obvious lie because they clearly didn't try to make her outfit. And this is what's so frustrating. It's the condescension from these people.
In tissue paper, things disappear.
Why would you make her outfit out of tissue paper? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
rip. Sometimes it just got... Anyway, like I was saying, that original...
She says sometimes it just got lodged in her crevices. And I think people took that to mean a sexual sort of crevice, but it actually was just her fat beer gut. Remember this one? Bam. Got lodged right up in there. You can see it lodged in there now. Of course, the joke of this, and let's get to the actual picture, is this is her wearing an outfit very similar to Faye's. Now, Anna, that Star Wars girl, modified the color of the boots, added the stockings, and modified the color of her outfit. It was purple in the original, and she colored her hair to make her look like Faye. They absolutely could have her doing stunts in like she's done it before. And again, this doesn't look like Faye either. Right? Like, I just want to be clear. But this is a tight-fitting pair of hot pants. All right. Guys piss me off.
Costume. They made a couple of them, but like I said, they got sort of slurped up in my various crevices, never to be retrieved again. So we needed to really build.
So you're saying you have a bunch of costumes lodged in your vagina? Like, what is this?
Something that could withstand the test of time. So just, you know.
See, lots of people are talking about this, obviously. Male gaze defeated. Oh, Yellow Flash. Okay. Okay. So what else is this stupid thing? Ooh. A few days later, Pineda's off-the-cuff response to people's outrage over the costume went viral after the quartering. A YouTuber with more than 1 million subscribers posted the video and framed it as an attack on Cowboy Bebop fans. Because it is. It is. I don't know what else to say. Holy shit, the actress from Cowboy Bebop is already shitting on the fans, he tweeted. I am sure this will turn out amazingly. And it is. It's turning out great. It's great. He followed that tweet up, voicing his wish that Hollywood actors would just shut the fuck up and entertain us. Yes, please. Just do literally your job and nothing else. Don't do this. So anyway, hell yes, girl, tell them from Allegra Clark. Who's also, what planet is that shitting on the fans? I mean, her tone, her words, her attitude, everything in that tweet was shitting on the fans. Who's this person? She's shitting on you losers that only care about looks. Goddamn. Wait, I thought she wasn't shitting on the fans. Which one is it? This rocks. Always cool to do some light dunking on the fans. Healthy to show some contempt. Only way to interact. God, look, these simps. This simpery. You actually paid attention to what she is saying. She actually shitting on people like you. Got angry that a portrayal of a woman isn't over-sexualized. Well, we wouldn't want Faye Valentine to be sexualized or perhaps over-sexualized. That would be a criminal act to have Faye Valentine be sexualized. I mean, heaven forbid we take this conservative, prudish, Quaker character and cast the male gaze upon her and sexualize her. Oh, man. What would we ever do? I thought sex work was real work. Mr. Remakes, Faye isn't young. Faye's in her 20s. The problem with all this is, of course, they make it about the male gaze, the Coomer mindset. Look, guys, everybody knows. All of the Coomers long figured out. Long ago figured out that they could type in titties on the internet and coom away. All of them figured that out. All right. So, it's not about that. It's never been about that. What they want is faithful adaptation. Like, if you guys are the ones choosing to remake stuff, we're not asking no one was like, you know what they need to do? You know what I'm waiting for? God, what my Christmas wish is. Not a Red Ryder BB gun. In fact, what I really want is for Netflix to make a live action Cowboy Bebop, because the live action Full Metal Alchemist was really good, you know, and the live action whatever else is like so good. And that's what nobody's asking for this stuff. You're choosing it because you cannot. They don't know how to make money right now. They're having so much trouble coming up with a new IP, with new stories, with a new characters, that they're relying on something that they know is successful. They know Bebop will sell. So they're just taking the work that other people did. But okay, we didn't ask you to. But if you're doing it, just be faithful to the original. Show that you care a little bit about the source material that you're borrowing from for your living, by the way, Daniella. Like, you're stepping into the role of, you're not going to make Faye your own. They didn't give you the role to make something to like, oh, she totally re-owned and reimagined Faye Valentine. This isn't the medium for that. It's not the project for that. Nobody thinks you're going to knock it out of the park where the original didn't do it, right? Everybody's going to be comparing all of these to the animated original. It's an impossible task. It's a stupid project for them to take on, but they wanted to do it. But that wasn't our choice. It was yours. So all the fans want, and remember, these are fans. This is your market. Because I'm sorry, when Cowboy Bebop live action drops, what they're banking on, what they're desperately expecting, is that the fans of Cowboy Bebop will sign up for Netflix to watch it, to then tell everybody else that it's good. They're banking on they're withdrawing from the savings account of clout that Cowboy Bebop has fostered over 20 years now. And to disregard that, all of these remake projects, the fans are the first to watch. You're not getting new people to the Cowboy Bebop live action movie or live action series. You're going to get new people only after the fans go in and start proselytizing for you. That's what they're hoping people will do. So when you come out and dump on those people who are like, wait, this isn't the thing that I like. What are you doing to the thing that I like? That's your marketing arm. And you're shitting on them like an idiot. This is basic. I don't get it. Intimidator 0108. Hey, what's up, buddy? He says, I remember when I first watched Cowboy Bebop on Adult Swim on the Cartoon Network at 11 p.m. every Sunday as a college freshman, was immediately hooked. Now Netflix is screwing it up by making Jet black and this Faye wannabe. Also, Keanu Reeves for Spike. Look, Keanu's too big now for Spike, and he doesn't move well, man. And yes, I heard Hollywood is remaking Train to Busan. I mean, again, nobody wants this. I'm not actually bothered by Jet being black. They picked a pretty dark dude. Jet is lighter skinned, but I mean, at the end of the day, that doesn't really bother me that much. If they nail the rest of the look and the attitude for Jet has to have more acting chops than just about anyone on the show, in my opinion. Jet is a well-played and a well-voiced character, and he's cleverly written. Yeah, I saw the remaking Interview with a Vampire, and yes, the Louisiana plantation owner is going to be a black vampire, which will be interesting. Woo! All right. Yeah, okay. I'm about done talking about media stuff here for a little bit because it's just really, really disheartening to see what's going on right now. I don't even care. Like, I'm not even gonna watch this, but it's the condescending attitude these people have. Yeah, Zara BP. Jet is a 20-something. Cho is like 40-something. Imagine John Cho calling Jet old timer. Yeah, that is a good point. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about the age thing as much. But very interesting. Let's talk about this mask stuff. This story is weird. Here we go. This is the weirdest shit on the planet. Guys, let me preface this. Spectre says, I'd still make Pineda a single mother. Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. Again, Cecil said it this way. They cast a bombshell with C cups. They replaced a bombshell with C cups with a cute girl with A cups. She's not like horrifying looking. She's just not Faye. All right, here we go. Education Department announces civil rights investigations into 5 states' mask mandate bans. Okay. The U.S. Department of Education sent a warning to 5 states on Monday that their statewide bans on mask mandates, including in schools, could violate students' civil rights. This is the single dumbest fucking premise I've ever seen. Yeah, they're not talking about what's going on in this kindergarten classroom here. I don't know. This chick would probably make a better Faye than Daniella Pineda. Oh, we could... Let's see. Look at this. Let's read the letter. This will be good. For immediate release. Immediate release. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights opens investigations in 5 states regarding prohibitions of universal indoor masking. Today, the U.S. DoE, Office of Civil Rights, the OCR, opened directed investigations in 5 states exploring whether statewide prohibitions on universal indoor masking discriminate against students with disabilities who are at a heightened risk for severe illness from COVID-19 by preventing them from safely accessing in-person education. Full fucking stop. If you have an immunocompromised child with some sort of disability that's at a heightened risk of severe illness, the better approach is to not have them go to class, mask or no mask. It is to provide an alternative environment for them that is removed from the danger. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, again, homeschool your damn kids. Homeschool your kid. Get your kids out of this nonsense. Get your kids away from this garbage. This system is broken. It's run by bad people. And I'm done. I'm done with the apologetics. Oh, well, there are, not everyone. No, it's a bad system run by bad people. Period. It just is. You don't have your kids' best interests at heart. I don't care how many, there's a wonderful teacher somewhere in my life. Oh, there was a good one over there. It's so bad that we have to point out the good teachers, and they're hard to find. It should be the opposite. We should only have to point out when there's a bad teacher. No, we have to honor the good teachers. Like, please recognize this good teacher over here because there's at least one. Get your kids out. Get them out. They hate you. They hate your kids. Believe me, the Department of Education, the teachers union, probably a majority of teachers. I'm going to go out and say this. I'm not even out on a limb here. I'm just at the window casually in the building saying this. The majority of teachers hate you and your kids. Period. You are their job, their project. And again, you can throw all you want. There's a good teacher here. Yeah, I know. I know teachers who are good. It's fine. I get it. I'm talking about the majority. This system is geared to churn your kids out, to turn them into a numbered project for some person's 8-hour day. That's the system, folks. It's a government system. In every other area of your life, you want to get away from the government system as fast as possible. You're like, oh shit, I don't want to go to I don't want to go to the VA hospital. I want to go to please put me in a private hospital. Oh dear God. It's like, oh, do you want the government food stamp program? It's like, no, I'd rather buy the better food on my own, like whatever I want. Like, oh, well, you want the you want the government welfare system. It's like, well, I'd rather have a job that pays 10 times as much. But this is a fallback. Only in school are we like, oh, no, the government system should be the better one. No. Nope. It never will be. It can't be. It's a function of government to be inferior to everything else around you. It is a feature, right? It's not a bug. Ask Todd Howard. He built the education system. It's buggy as shit. The sensible solution, if COVID transmission in school is a risk to these children, is to not have them go, or to provide a clean and safe alternative environment for them. That is the better solution. It is a better allocation of resources, because even if the masks reduce the risk, why would you send your children into the environment where the risk is so high? I don't get it. I don't get it. If my kids were particularly susceptible to COVID, no amount of other little Johnnies running around wearing masks would make me feel like my kid was safe. Where did this mindset come from? Trump Willis. Whoops. Says, will you talk about the mother who had her kid taken away by a judge for not having a vax? Trying to piss me off. You're trying to piss me off. Oh, we'll see. The department has heard from parents across the country, particularly parents of students with disabilities and with underlying medical conditions, about how state bans on universal indoor masking are putting their children at risk. No, the parents are putting their children at risk. Take your kid out of school. Don't you like them? Don't you care? Do you trust? This is the other thing. Today, do you trust a teacher to properly enforce a mask mandate? What if the kids just take off their mask? What's the teacher going to do? What's she going to do? She's going to put her hands on the kids, put their mask on, and send them out of the room? That stops the virus, right? What are they going to do about it? Why would you trust I don't trust these people to explain the rules of Duck, Duck, Goose. Get your kids out. If you're a parent of an immune-compromised kid in public school, get them out. What are you doing? About how state bans on universal indoor masking are putting their child at risk and preventing them from accessing in-person learning equally. Said U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona. It's simply unacceptable that state leaders are putting politics over health. Oh, really? Oh, they're doing politics over health. And education of the students they took an oath to serve. The department will fight to protect every student's right to access in-person learning safely and the right of local educators to put in place policies that allow all students to return to the classroom full-time, in-person, safely this fall. It's not possible. Whoa! Bearing Coppercab got terminated from YouTube? Why? Bearing, can you let me know how to help him? Man, I don't know what to do. That's bullshit. OCR sent letters today to the chief state school officers of Iowa, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Utah, outlining how prohibitions of universal indoor masking prevent school districts from implementing health and safety policies. I guess Texas and Florida are not on the list because their anti-mask mandates have been shut down. Retweet him to Team YouTube. He doesn't deserve this. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to do that right now while I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Ayo. At Team YouTube. You got to look into this. We are your creators. We are your partners. Stop treating us like garbage. There you go. Team YouTube already reached out. I don't care. We're doing it anyway. We're doing it anyway. Thanks for tagging us. As mentioned in our previous tweet, we're still looking into this. Our review team is manually checking this out, so this will take time to process. An hour. Literally an hour. Once done, we'll circle back to you with an update. Grateful for your continued patience. What's his response here?
Thank you so much, YouTube. I don't want to lose my legacy. I don't want to lose everything I built.
Okay,
over
stop
11
crying.
years. I've never intended on causing problems on the platform. I am more than happy to take down whatever you need me to. Anything that's a problem, anything that's a violation, I'm more than happy to. I'm happy to. I love YouTube and I love the community. I just like to make people laugh. So anything anything I can do, I'm happy to help in any way. I just don't want to lose all the memories that I've made with my family, all the videos and vlogs that I've made, and, you know, my friends, and It's my livelihood. It's a major part of who I am, and I just don't want to lose it. So anything I can do, you let me know. Don't hesitate. Please help me. I just want to be given a chance to change whatever needs to be changed, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Thank you.
All right, well, that was a little more tear-filled than I liked. But it's still garbage what's happening. Because the guy's funny. You know, he doesn't deserve this stuff. Ridiculous. Hey, Karl, I'm gonna call you out. I'll call you out. Since you're in the chat, we should talk about Billy Mitchell. I heard he took a big major L, and that's pretty interesting stuff. We should catch up sometime soon. Aha! Now you've been put on blast. I've done the most unprofessional thing. Get wrecked. So anyway, again, you guys know me. I am opposed to I'm opposed to canceling by YouTube. I'm opposed to canceling by anybody. Just, if someone sucks, if their speech is bad, just beat them with better speech. Just outcompete them, do whatever. We got to stop this culture of canceling. Canceled. You're canceled. Why? No, I guarantee you Coppercab didn't make anybody else cry as much as he was crying right there. So this has to stop. This has to stop. Yeah, the fraud in retro video games. I'll look into that. And I'll hit you up, man, because it's been a while, and I like talking to you. Okay. Alexander Maxwell says, I'm curious. Charles Manson was criminally prosecuted, to my knowledge, not for any murders, but for being the one who influenced his followers to commit murder. Why can't the people poisoning culture suffer the same fate? That's a good question. Goober Gabber says, if you're drinking tonight, I am. Mind having one on me? Just turned 28. Keep up the good work. It's always great to listen to your stuff in the morning at work. Have a good one. Hey, I will have one for you, buddy. This is Evan Williams single barrel vintage. It's good stuff. I like it. Is Coppercab legit or is he a troll? The crying looked pretty legit, but I think in general he's like a friendly troll. He came in here for a couple live streams and really had the chat riled up. I thought it was really funny. What's up, Tug? I see you there, buddy. So this is to you, Goober Gabber. Happy birthday. Yeah, I see you, Death Wish. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Outlining how prohibitions prevent school districts from implementing health and safety policies that they determine are necessary to protect students from exposure to COVID-19. Some people might question their motives. Back to the subject. Some people might question their motives. That's all I'm saying. Including those with underlying medical conditions related to their disability. OCR is concerned that state mask restrictions on schools and school districts may be preventing schools from meeting their legal obligations not to discriminate based on disability, and from providing an equal educational opportunity to students with disabilities who are at heightened risk of severe illness from COVID-19. This is a stretch of this legal theory. It's a big stretch. The unfortunate thing is that right now, the way society is, the way courts are going, this is the stretch in the direction that they want and that they may get. That's the horrifying thing. We can compare this back to FDR in the wake of the Great Depression with his New Deal. The Supreme Court initially was striking down the New Deal, but FDR was so overwhelmingly popular, and he used his political clout to pressure the courts into basically changing how the law works forever. Because they stretched it. They stretched it out to do this. There's actually a really bad post-World War II case where a German spy, a German traitor's American father was prosecuted for treason, even though he allegedly had no knowledge that his son was a spy. And to be prosecuted for treason in the United States, you're supposed to have 2 witnesses, and they didn't have any. They didn't have any witnesses to his prosecution. They just prosecuted him anyway. And so, but it was in the wake of World War II, and this is a Nazi sympathizer, and so they just threw everything out the door. Oliver Wendell Holmes' stupid "fire in a crowded theater" line comes from a case where they were prosecuting socialists for handing out or for mailing socialist pamphlets and stuff like that. This stuff all comes from the idea that imagine that, by the way. Imagine stretching away from socialism in the United States legal system. But, these changes and these legacies that are left by judicial decisions that last forever, that happen at a particular point in time. New York Times versus Sullivan, the unequal treatment of famous people and normal people on defamation issues, that stemmed from the civil rights movement. If it had come about, if it wasn't related to Martin Luther King, if it wasn't a case in New York shutting down a racist cop in Atlanta, if these weren't the circumstances, we wouldn't have disparity between famous people and non-famous people. It wouldn't exist in defamation. That exists entirely because of the circumstances and the time. And this is the scary part, is our courts are going to rule that children aren't being treated equally by giving everybody the equal opportunity to wear a mask or not. Ben Frail, it wasn't a few thousand Japanese Americans. It was 140,000 Japanese Americans. And worse than the internment was the confiscation of their farms in California and Nevada. OCR is not open investigations into Florida, Texas, Arkansas, or Arizona because those states' bans are not currently being enforced as a result of court orders or other state actions. Through these rulings and actions, districts should be able to implement universal indoor masking in schools to protect the health and safety of their students and staff. However, the department will continue to closely monitor those states and take action if state leaders prevent local schools or districts from implementing universal indoor masking, or if the current court decisions were to be reversed. And this is amazing because the education system is supposed to be the purview of the states. It's supposed to be the purview of the states. The investigations will explore each state's compliance with Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which is a federal law that protects students with disabilities from discrimination based on their disability. Section 504 guarantees qualified students with disabilities the right to a free, appropriate public education in elementary and secondary school, commonly referred to as FAPE. And speaking of stretching the law in a particular way, this is a result, 1973. Does anybody in the chat want to guess what was going on in 1973? Southern schools were labeling black students as disabled and suggesting that they needed to be in different schools. It's pretty obvious, I hope. Hope people realize what was going on there. See, Goody, what are you doing? Why are you timing out like people a billion times in a row? So the point of this is that this legacy of law that we have now came about at a particular time and place. And it was particularly in response to a specific moment, a specific movement. And that movement passed. We don't have schools labeling African American children as disabled anymore. That's not a real thing. That's what this law was passed about. Your arm swiped your phone? Well, to everybody who just got muted or whatever by C Goody 564, he will be sending you a new Porsche in the mail. He promised me he would. Okay. So here we go. Investigation will also explore whether statewide prohibitions on universal indoor masking violate Title II of the ADA. By the way, remember how everybody thinks that the ADA is going to prevent the mask mandates, right? People have been yelling at me about the ADA every time I'm like, yeah, I don't think you're going to win a lawsuit on the mask mandates with the Americans with Disabilities Act. The government is already planning, and they know the courts are sympathetic to them to use the ADA to implement the mask mandate. So, Americans with Disabilities Act is not going to save you from employer mask mandates or travel mask mandates or vaccine mandates. It's not going to save you. I know everybody thinks it's going to. I don't have any hope for it. Red Mage 13 says, like Goober, today is my birthday too. Oh, you just got timed out. Damn it, C Goody. From one fellow Gen Xer to another. Cheers. Thanks for the great show as always. I'll be needing good stuff like this since I'm driving Virginia to Kansas this week to pick up stuff from my parents' house. Hey, cheers, brother. Happy birthday. All right, here we go. Which prohibits disability discrimination by public entities, including public education systems and institutions. OCR's regional offices will begin collecting data from each state. Each state's educational agency is part of the direct investigations over the coming weeks. During the investigation, OCR is a neutral fact finder. Oh, really? Collecting and analyzing relevant evidence from state education agencies and other sources as appropriate prior to reaching determinations in these matters. Yeah, this looks real neutral. Opening a directed investigation does not imply that OCR has decided whether there's been a violation of law that OCR enforces. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. That's why we have a press release. That's why we have news stories in every major paper telling the states what's going on. They haven't made their determination, though, guys. It's not going to happen. On August 18th, President Biden issued a presidential memorandum that someone else wrote, directing the Secretary of Education to assess all available tools and taking action as appropriate and consistent with applicable law to ensure that governors and other officials are giving all students the opportunity to participate and remain in full-time in-person learning safely without compromising their health or the health of their families. In response to the president's call, Secretary Cardona laid out the steps the DoE can take to protect the rights of all students to access safe in-person learning equally, including using the enforcement authority of the Office of Civil Rights. Secretary Cardona also sent letters earlier this month to each of the states that are the subject of the direct investigations that OCR announced today. The letters note that the safe return to in-person instruction requires that school districts be able to protect the health and safety of students and educators, and the families have confidence that their schools are doing everything possible to keep students healthy. Oh, well, why don't they just mandate vaccines for them, right? It's coming. It's coming. And schools are some of the institutions with the absolute strongest case for mandating vaccines because they've been mandating vaccines forever. So that's coming. I'm going to come. I'm going to come. So there you go. That's the school update from the Department of Education. It's terrific. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. You never had updates like this under me. Have you ever seen an update like this? And I've just been informed we have passed 1,000 likes. And with that, I will spill liquor on my desk. Damn it. with that, we will be drinking this 1,000 like shot. Thank you to everybody who clicks like. It really does help. It helps the show. I don't know what else to say. I'm not drinking it as a shot, though. Okay, this reminded me that there's something else we need to talk about. I was mentioned unsolicited. Unsolicited. And I did nothing here. This isn't even me. I only saw Jim stream about 10 minutes. And I want to go back and watch it. So here we go. Look at this. Is this it? Here we go. This is from my Kiwi Farms thread. And Not a Robot says someone is apparently moving in on his turf. Popehat says apparently a detractor, a lawyer who is basically one big exposed nerve of constant impotent indignation, was trash talking me today on some YouTube anime show in connection with a case I don't think I've even commented on. It's nice to have hobbies and fans. This wasn't even me. This guy says, gotta be Ricada. The fuck did I do? Look, Popehat's a cunt. Popehat sucks. He's an overrated, overinflated, fat, old, irrelevant sack of garbage that is worshipped and lapped up by a bunch of cum-hungry law students. Who fucking cares about Popehat? I don't care about Popehat. He's a nobody. He's irrelevant to the status of law in this country. He's becoming increasingly irrelevant to legal commentary. And he's a guy who went from used to be an ardent defender of free speech to a guy who thinks that free speech is subject to politics, to a guy who thinks that his own farts smell like Daniella Pineda's rotten vagina. He is pointless. Why would I talk about this guy? Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Popehat's an irrelevant sack of shit. I don't care about him. He has no impact on my day. It was someone else. But I get brought up as if I did anything. Here I am. I'm just living my life over here, living my best life. But okay. So, turns out though, it wasn't me, right? Again, I don't talk about Ken White unless someone brings up Ken White to me. All right? Because he became irrelevant in the realm of free speech when he got Trump derangement syndrome and decided that free speech only applies sometimes. Lots of people did that. He got old and stupid. I don't know. Maybe it's the Alzheimer's. Maybe it's him not masturbating. I don't know what it is. But he's so far out of my realm of caring that it doesn't matter. Quite a bit of Popehat trash talk around the time of this Twitter post. Sorry, no timestamps. Videos woven in Popehat. Not sure if this is a reference because I don't really associate Barnes and Frey with YouTube anime show. Again, make anime GA gay again or great again. Oh, great again. I guess you don't have to make anime gay again. It's always been. You can't expect accuracy and thoroughness from Popehat anymore. He's in his own orbit. He's become double fat. He revolves around himself. He's a black hole of idiocy and self-flagellation. Flatulation, infatuation, doesn't matter. The dude is full of himself. because he's been propped up for the past 10 years by a bunch of attention grabbing Twitter lawyers. Oh, notice me, Ken White. Notice me, Popehat, please. Please, I just want a little bit of drippings from your beautiful table. Such a fucking weirdo. He's been so inflated, and he's taken that to heart. He doesn't realize it, just like all of us. It's just some jackass with an opinion. But he thinks his opinion is important. Turns out, it's not. It's a shame because he has some really good anecdotal stories from practice. He practiced for a long time, and he has a good witty writing style. If he would have stuck to that, it would have been perfect. But he didn't. Too bad. But I also don't normally watch either of them. I just happened to see this in my feed, and the topics interest me. Here we go. This super chat popped up when Barnes was talking about Popehat. He saw a cartoon character avatar and thought YouTube anime show. It's a Wojak. No wonder people in the replies couldn't pin down who he was talking about. So he's talking about Barnes. Here we go.
It would be like if I said Popehat kind of looks like the kind of guy that likes to diddle goats. But I don't have any evidence of that, and that's purely based on just...
Wait, Popehat does look like the kind of guy who likes to diddle goats. I mean, that's not...
crazy opinion, right? That's not really defamation. Defamation is if you don't have those caveats in your statement. And so I don't think they have a defamation claim. They have a disagreement, functionally, a political opinion disagreement. But if they were going to sue, I would not have included those caveats in the statement, because what could have happened...
They must have sped this video up by like 25% because Barnes talks fast, but not that fast. And Viva is nodding at a breakneck pace.
Is somebody could have only heard the part of Candace Owens' statement that did not have that conditional component to it. And then, you know, if they were smart, that's what they would have sued on. They would have sued, people may have only heard this claim, and these claims are patently false. And, I mean, they would be defamation. I mean, it's not like Candace Owens held back. I mean, she accused her of a bunch of things that, no question, or apparently Popehat doesn't understand the distinction here. There's things that are defamatory that might not be legally actionable under our First Amendment interpretation. That doesn't change the fact that they're defamatory.
Barnes just made a brilliant point, by the way. Other people have made this point as well over the past couple years. Barnes just made a brilliant point. A defamatory statement, all right, is one that tends to injure the reputation of the target. That's it. Defamatory statements, by definition, can be true, right? I can say that, let's see, what's a true defamatory statement? I can say Jared Fogle is a kid diddler, right? I can say that. And it's defamatory. It's damaging to his reputation for me to say that, even though it's true. The difference is in legal actionability of the defamatory statement. Can you sue on it? Well, if it's true, no, that's a defense to the defamation. But notice that it's a defense to the defamation. If it didn't cause damage, I can say, for example, that Tonka is always late to work because they won't install a wheelchair ramp. Does that cause damage to Tonka? I mean, I said he's always late to work. So that would be defamatory. That would injure his reputation. But you can't damage him because the public's opinion of him is so low that there's nothing you could say that would cause him damage. He also has no economic ability to be damaged. It's still a defamatory statement. It's just not legally actionable defamation. And this is something people, got this. I addressed this a long time ago in the Vic case because the Texas Defamation Mitigation Act letters addressed defamatory statements, not just legally actionable defamatory statements, but all of the defamatory statements that were made. And they're like, lol, that's not defamation. It's like, actually, under the Texas definition of defamation, they are. They may not be legally actionable. You may not be able to win against them, but they're still defamatory statements. And these are only a fraction of the statements that were said. I mean, there are other actionable defamatory statements in there as well. So this is addressed. Barnes makes a really good point there, though. we've stopped. Look, if you did a bad thing and no one knows, and I go tell them, that is defamatory. It is defaming you. It is causing you public disrepute. Now, it might happen to be true, and then you can't sue me over it, or if you sue me, in theory, I should prevail because it's true. But it still caused you reputational harm. It still did the defaming.
Something is defamatory if a statement, it puts your reputation in a tarnished light. That's it. Just look up the definition of defamatory.
Thank you.
Whether or not you have a constitutionally cognizable defamation legal cause of action requires that it be defamatory plus a factual assertion rather than an opinion, actual malice if you're a public figure, so on and so forth. But that's our constitutional constriction on the cause of action of defamation. It's not part of the definition of defamation itself. These statements were clearly defamatory. The question is whether they're constitutionally cognizable, given that Kim Klacik is a public figure, and given that Candace Owens made clear her statements were not factual, but were opinion for which she had no foundation.
There you go. There you have it. Edit Popehat indirectly confirmed that he was talking about Barnes. I clipped part of the Alex Berenson section below. Apparently, a detractor... Oh, wait, he says it. Got around to watching it. Salty lawyer is so angry that I think Alex Berenson's defamation claim is bogus, that he's threatening me with defamation over something completely unrelated in 2019. What a buffoon. Sounds like Ricardo. Why would I threaten to sue anybody? Again, you can see these people don't ever watch my show. They literally just lap up the nut hair of Popehat. That's all they do. They want to braid it. They want to roll it up and make dolls out of it. This guy is the saddest fucking state of online lawyer that exists. Because the people who listen to Popehat, they don't bother questioning him. They don't challenge him. They just think that his word is gospel. It's not. He's a federal defense attorney. His musings on other law are just as valid as any other lawyer's musings on other law. Incinerate says, bruh, when I make that suggestion to you, you often shoot it down and say it's not worth the time or effort. It's not. It's not worth the time or effort 99% of the time. Okay, let's see what this clip says.
There's a debate on Twitter to some degree. The person was not willing to debate me. He subtweeted me that deal. Mr. Little Popehat is one of these pretentious, pretend legal great minds. The guy's the biggest, maybe the biggest snob and the most, anybody that's like that arrogant and contemptuous down deep has a deep insecurity problem. But he
nailed it. Man, I like the cut of Barnes's jib. He nails him. He's got him right, dead to rights. And again, if you think I'm dumb, we have confirmation bias coming directly from Barnes. Confirmation bias of my statements.
He was suggesting that it was absurd, the idea that Alex Berenson has, because Alex Berenson, the former New York Times reporter, popular novelist.
That's from Twitter.
Yes, yeah, that's what happened. So this week, for putting out, he's been constantly harassed by big tech. He apparently has been permanently suspended from Twitter from putting out a tweet that basically was indistinguishable from various medical reports and even CDC quotes. So there's part one of him being deplatformed. But the way that Twitter is going about deplatforming people, same as Facebook, same as Instagram, similar to the Robert Kennedy case, they are deplatforming them and using the deplatforming to defame them by what they publicly say about the deplatforming. So what Twitter did is they didn't just deplatform him. They said that his tweets, his comments, this particular comment was misleading.
Okay, so this is similar to the Project Veritas defamation, which, by the way, right now, Project Veritas is winning that case. It could turn around, it could change, but they are accomplishing their goal of getting to discovery based on the idea that it's not the banning of Project Veritas or James O'Keefe that has caused that is the defamatory action or the bad action, because that's foreclosed by Section 230. The banning, anything related to the banning, they can just say, nope, 230, that's done. We have the freedom to ban him. What they don't have the freedom to do is lie about James O'Keefe. They said he's operating multiple fake accounts, whatever that means. He says, no, I'm not. Well, then that's a lie. And it tends to injure his reputation, particularly in his field as a journalist, because it casts a pall of dishonesty and misrepresentation over him. So he says, they're harming my reputation by saying I did something that I didn't do, and in my industry would be inappropriate to do. In my position, it would be inappropriate to operate these false accounts to try and, generate more traffic or something. As if Project Veritas needs the help from false accounts to generate traffic. But that's what Twitter took the time to say. New York Times said they were engaged in a disinformation campaign. Okay, prove it. That's a thing that you're asserting exists and that they're subsequently participating in. You got to prove that. Like you have to do that, because if their disinformation would be discrediting to their journalistic chops. So by going after these subsequent statements that don't need to be made, these guys are they're progressing through the legal system. That's what's going on here, apparently. Now, I didn't hear the... I'm going to go back just a minute because I didn't hear what the claim was.
What they publicly say about the deplatforming. So what Twitter did is they didn't just deplatform him. They said that his tweets, his comments, this particular comment was misleading. And the question is that actionable defamation? And people like Popehat, mostly because he hates anyone who's a dissident, he would be a happy Pravda guy back in the day, suggested that it was an LOL suit to even suggest such a lawsuit could even be filed. Now, he's no genius in defamation anyway, and maybe he might want to look up the statute of limitations in some states about the Covington kids cases in case he's forgot, because I haven't. So those are things that can be revisited upon occasion.
Okay, so he's threatening him with defamation over something completely unrelated in 2019. I mean, I don't know that he particularly threatened. Maybe Popehat should look up the definition of a threat, because that wasn't really a threat in any way. I mean, if we're going to be nitpicky on defamation, maybe we should be nitpicky on the other legal terms of art that are being used, like threat, right? Maybe we should do that. I don't know. But see, this is how Ken White lives. Ken is just an embarrassment to himself. He's literally an embarrassment to who he was when I started doing YouTube. Let me tell you how cool Ken White used to be. All right? Back when Maddox sued Dick Masterson, Asterios Kokonos, Trevor Burt, Patreon, and everything else, Ken White wrote up an article about it. He said, people are asking me about this. So he wrote on his blog an article about this case. And he said, I hate everybody involved. He hated Dick. He loves Dick, but he hated Dick Masterson. Hated Asterios Kokonos. Hated Maddox. Hated all of these people. But he said this. He said, but all of them should have the right to say whatever they want. And this is clearly not defamatory. And against Maddox, it wasn't defamatory in any way, especially what Asterios was doing was not defamatory in any way. One of he and Mad Cucks were probably the two most innocent people, other than, I guess, Patreon and stuff like that. They were probably the two most innocent. I don't think that Dick ultimately defamed Maddox in with a legally actionable defamation claim, right? He spoke truthful things about Maddox, and turns out Maddox ended up being a piece of shit that no one really knew. But that being said, Asterios didn't, though. And so Ken asked, he's like, do any of my colleagues in New York, would any of them take on this free speech case pro bono? You know, that was a cool thing to do. That was actually a cool thing. And that's what Ken White was prior to Trump derangement symptom. syndrome. God damn it. Prior to, edit that. Jamie, edit that out. We're going to edit that out in post. Prior to Trump derangement syndrome. That's who he was. He's not there anymore, though. He's just turned into this crotchety old weasel. It's embarrassing. Alexander Maxwell says, regarding my earlier chat, I'm more so referring to the ideologues turning weak-minded people and children into their soy-fueled foot soldiers to destroy America's soul. They make Manson look like a saint by comparison. Yeah. Well, yeah, but you're not going to legally challenge any of these people, unfortunately. Well, he's right. Cuckhat does look like he diddles goats. And look at that. Look at that gut that I'm wearing. Oh, my gosh. Whew. So when I did that, I showed my wife the Daniel. Oh wait, I got rid of it. The Daniella Pineda edit, and then she goes, "Is that your stomach?" No. I couldn't get a good angle on mine. I would have definitely put my stomach on her. Absolutely. I am 100% dad bod right now, baby. Bad Vibe says, in regards to lying, can omission of information, i.e. failure to answer a direct question or leaving out facts, be considered lying as defined by the court? Depends on the circumstance. I.e. you get banned from Twitter without reasons, open interpretation. Not in that case. No. Charles Kors, I don't think I'm actually... I might be overweight. I don't think so, though. Here, you can check. Check the scales. I'm 6. We'll go with 6'2". Between 6'2" and 6'3", but we'll go with 6'2". I'm 194 pounds. See if I'm too fucking fat. I mean, I know I'm too fat. But check if I'm actually overweight. Check it out. Okay, do we have anything else on Popehat here? I just wanted to talk about that. He must hate himself, the fat fuck. Oh, man. You either die a hero or live to see yourself having a gunt. It's true. This is true. These are all facts. Okay, do we have anything else on here? Let's see. Oh, gosh. I haven't read these. I have to make sure there's not any really, really bad gamer words. Braggett needs to cover this and notice some errors. May or may not be material based on info that would be far too big of a power level to pose. Okay. Okay. That's that. All right. There's nothing else to go through. You're actually a little underweight? Oh my God. I gotta get that. I gotta get that up into my like shoulders and stuff. I saw an animation of that once where a guy just scooped the fat off of his stomach and put it up onto his shoulders. God, I need to do that. Let's see. Look, that's the thing. People are like, "Oh man, he's making fun of fat people." It's like, yeah, I'm making fun of myself. I know. Do you think I want the belly? No. I want to be 26 again and have a 6-pack of abs from just eating hot dogs. Like, that was great. But it doesn't exist anymore. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Okay. What other subject did we have? Oh, Flynn. Dad bods are no, I'm not going to do it. Dad bods are an excuse, in my opinion. I'm under no illusions, guys. I'm under no illusions. I have really over the past since I turned 35, I have neglected Well, once I got the heat allergy, I neglected working out as hard as I used to. I mean, I used to run a ton. I used to lift. I used to do various other workout programs throughout the year, and I stopped. Because, again, it was hard, which is a shit excuse. Don't hold me to a different standard. I don't hold me to a different standard. I know. Believe me, I'm my harshest critic. No amount of gunt jokes can be said that haven't already been said. Yeah, I know the teacher who the non-binary teacher, I know she got fired. I heard the pride flag teacher got fired too, right? I also stopped making babies. Very true. Okay, DSP, we believed you used to lift. Look, I was never big. I've always been slight. But I was much stronger than I am now. Remember, like I was a cheerleader or whatever. I had to hold the girls, right? It's great. Okay. Let's see. We've got Flynn. What am I going to say about? What are we going to say about Flynn? Nick's always had that Faye Valentine body shape. I legit had the Spike Spiegel body shape. Except I'm just a lot taller than him. So, Flynn, this is what happened. If you didn't see my video earlier. General Michael Flynn, this is important. This is actually important. His bank accounts and his credit cards were shut down by Chase Bank, allegedly. And they cited reputational harm. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's a subject we've covered many, many times before. Something needs to happen as soon as possible. And it's going to take an act of Congress. And it's going to take the thing that I don't like. It's going to require regulation. More regulation. But it's going to require regulation in the name of freedom. And as someone who used to be more conservative than libertarian, this is, well, no, and as a libertarian, I guess, both of them. You know, I've always fallen on the side of let's regulate less. Let's have less regulations. Spike is 6'1" and 155 pounds. Oh, shit. That's literally... Well, I was 6'2" to 6'3" in college, in college I was 6'2" to 6'3", 165. So I was slightly bigger than Spike. But, all right. As someone who I loathe regulation. I hate it. I don't want to regulate anything. I think free transaction is critical. However, free transaction has always been predicated on the idea that everyone is radically self-interested. All right? That no company would act against its own financial interest. That was the idea, right? Well, you don't regulate the banks because you don't need to, because they're going to act in their own self-interest, and that self-interest would always gear towards X. The only thing you had to worry about were fraud. misrepresentations, backroom business deals that were exploitative or something like that, breaches of contract, unfair contract, unfair leveraging of bargaining power, things like that. But the idea was that an institution would always act in its fullest financial self-interest. It's no longer the case. We see it every day. Look at Cowboy Bebop, right? There's no self-interest in their actions. Look at Marvel Comics. There's no self-interest in the crap that Marvel's putting. Marvel knows how to make money. They've done it for 70 years. They've made successful properties. Only recently have they just decided to flush everything down the toilet. Why? Same with Twitter. Banning Donald Trump? It's a financial depressant for Twitter. It's not a boon. They know. They acted against their own self-interest. And we're in a new era. We're in an era that has transcended for some of these institutions that are so monolithically powerful. They have transcended the self-interest argument. Twitter's capital isn't its bank account or its revenue. Twitter's capital is its power, its influence, and its convincing of other institutions that it is necessary and good. So Twitter banning Donald Trump is a financial bane to them because it removes millions of tweets of traffic per hour. That's how crazy that ban is. And remember, every single tweet is an opportunity for an ad to be served on Twitter. Every single time someone logs into Twitter and starts scrolling through to look for Donald Trump's tweets to go, I hate this man, that was an opportunity for an ad to be served. So for Twitter to remove him and to remove that activity is to act directly opposed to their financial self-interest. But they're investing in what their perceived other capital is. And it's this perception of value outside of the financial sphere. Chase Bank is doing the same thing here. There's no financial interest in removing Michael Flynn's bank accounts and credit cards. Unless, the only time banks do this is when someone is kiting checks or floating checks, when they're severely overdrawn, they're bouncing check, they have not sufficient funds, they're overdrawing their accounts, and they don't have money coming in. Even those, for a while, are actually a financially superior position for banks. They want someone who's a pretty consistent deadbeat, but makes just enough money to pay his fees. That's what banks have wanted for probably 25 years. That is you think, oh, I've got $50,000 in the bank and I pay my mortgage on time. You're the last guy they want. They got 100 of you. What they really want, though, is that guy who makes $2,500 a month, but overdraws consistently 3 to 5 times a month. God, that is a moneymaker for them. Because they're going to pull in pure profit on 3 overdrafts. They were going to pull $75 to $150 every month from that guy. Takes a lot of money to earn that in interest per month in an account. Those are the highest value customers outside of, we're talking institutional wealth, that banks have. They want that person. I worked at a bank whose business model was the 1 overdraft per month client. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's the best client we could have. By the way, the person out there, Clayton Bigsby, I saw you, who says I don't understand the financial system, buddy. I very much understand the financial system of this country. I've worked in it personally for a very long time, and I have studied it from a business perspective and a legal perspective for a very long time. But that being said, you're entitled to your wrong opinion on that one. But listen, banks have no financial self-interest in preserving, in removing Michael Flynn's account. He's not the best type of account that he has. If he's overdrafting, a couple times a month, that's the perfect person. But if he's not doing that, but if he's using credit, He's using his accounts. That's still a financial asset to them. And Flynn, I think, is fairly wealthy. Fairly wealthy. So having his accounts is financially beneficial in other ways. If you don't know what banks do with your money when you're not using it, they take that money and they lend it overnight to other banks at an institutional overnight rate. And that's where they make vast sums of money to fulfill their Federal Reserve requirements. Because let's say you wire out a whole bunch of money on behalf of your clients one day, you need to make your 9% minimum cash on hand deposit. So you borrow money from another bank overnight and then give it back to them the next day, plus a nice chunk of interest. This is how banks make a ton of money. It's how they put your money to use when you're not using it. And they use that $sign, that number that you have as your savings account and your checking account or whatever, that average balance really over a month. And they use that to determine the amount of money that they can subsequently lend out for mortgages and personal loans as well. And then they use that to generate interest on money, and they pay you less interest. That's called subrogation, right? Abrogation? No, arbitrage. Arbitrage is what that is. It's arbitrage. So they lend out at 4% and they pay you less than 0.5%. There you go. Arbitrage. They make money. You don't. It's great. It's a great system. So, again, having Michael Flynn banking with them is only beneficial for them. It is acting outside of their financial self-interest. However, they believe there's an alternative means of social capital right now that transcends the immediate value of Michael Flynn. And that is to cancel him. This is a problem because their targets are getting bigger and more prominent. This happened to WikiLeaks, to Julian Assange. This happened to Nick Fuentes, right? He had his assets frozen. A little bit different story, I think, on Fuentes. It happened to Judicial Watch with Patreon. It happened to Dick Masterson with New Project 2. It happened to Martina Markota, right? She had some wrong think. I think Lauren Southern had her accounts frozen. Was it Lauren Southern? It's, or not Judicial Watch, Jihad Watch, sorry. And now it's hit. There's plenty of other people. Owen Benjamin, Alex Jones, yes. And there's probably innumerable people that we don't know about. You have to attack the weak ones first. And note that no one comes to a practicable defense. And now we've moved up to Michael Flynn, a very prominent figure for pro-Trump people. Back in January, if I did a video talking about Michael Flynn, I would have immediately had 100,000 to 500,000 views. Immediately. He's a very popular figure, and he has steadfastly supported Donald Trump. He's never gone off reservation in his messaging, and he is a consummate victim of the government. The government literally cheated to convict Michael Flynn. That's what they did. They cheated. They threatened his son. They coerced a confession. They did all of the bad things. The left still thinks that the government was right about Flynn, even though they broke every single rule. They broke so many rules that his confession has been overturned. But for them to go after him, the profile's getting bigger. The profile's getting bigger. And I said on election night, or just after the election, I said, they're going to go after Trump's bank. Eventually, that's how if they really want to shut down Trump, that's where they go. They shut down his bank. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have if you can't use it. You can't transact business. If you don't have a place to hold your dollary dues and to allow you to transfer those dollars to someone else, doesn't matter how much paper you have, right? What are you going to do? Walk around, I'm going to give you bearer bonds to your grocery store, take bearer bonds? No. And I know. Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum, all of this stuff, I'm going to hear it over and over again. And I'm going to tell you, it works okay now. But, and I've brought this up a million times, I sound like a fucking broken record. MasterCard already owns the patent for converting cryptocurrency to fiat currency at the point of sale. And what that means is that your grocery store, your mechanic, your laundromat, your Pizza Hut, all of those companies aren't going to be taking direct Bitcoin wallet donations from you. They will take a point of sale machine from their MasterCard vendor where you put your phone and it deducts from your Bitcoin wallet and then processes through MasterCard software into fiat currency at the point of sale. Because it's easier for them than maintaining a crypto wallet that's going to take 75,000 fucking different coins that they have to then manage in their accounting books, because all of those coin payments are going to be regulated by the IRS separately. And if you think, oh, well, you can't regulate crypto, first of all, they already started. And second of all, if you're talking about using crypto to buy consumer goods, those consumer vendors would have to do illegal transactions to accept crypto without reporting it. And they're not going to. They're going to be using the convenient system set up by MasterCard to translate it into money that they understand and don't have to have 45 internet tech guys to help them manage. The point in this is simple. You think crypto's going to save you? Not if you want to do business in the consumer marketplace. It won't. They're going to regulate and control it. They're already doing it. They're already starting. We'll be ahead of it for a little while, and then we'll lose. Not because you can't do it. It's because the person you're trying to give money to isn't doing it. That's how they win this stuff. So what we need to do, my point in this is simple. We have to get legislation on the monetary system, because relying on tech to do it is great, except at some point you're going to get choked out of the market. And I see silver and gold being mentioned in the chat. Yeah, silver and gold is great. Again, is your grocer going to accept your silver, your Troy silver coins? I mean, they might. Some grocers might. You're going to mail one to Newegg to buy your new graphics card? What are you going to do? Like, and it's nice to go into this dystopian fantasy where you're like an Uber farmer, right? And you return to the living off the land or whatever. Most people aren't going to do that. Card Bitcoin patent is being challenged by Visa and has been deemed obvious in a couple of countries. Yeah, the point in this is that they filed that patent before Bitcoin even mattered. And the best part about that is okay, so if it's obvious and if it's challenged by Visa, okay, so MasterCard doesn't own the patent. All right, there's still going to be the business that sells the point of sale machine to the Wells Fargo that the grocery store banks with. That's the point of the progression here. Don't live in cucked Minnesota. You think any state is going to be against this? Good luck. Good luck. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But keep watching. They're going after Flynn. The targets will only get bigger. And watch. Leading up to 2024, watch what happens to Trump. That's it. IWD says, all Nick does is blackpill and demoralize on these topics. What about solutions? I told you the solution. We literally need a regulatory solution from Congress that says you cannot remove people from the financial system. It's critically important. I know relying on Congress to save us is like relying on razor blades to not slice up our innards when we eat them. But it's literally, it's it. That's it. It's that or revolution. Viva la revolution. We have to talk about these things and they happen. And I hate doing it because people are like, no, Bitcoin will save us. Bitcoin isn't saving you. It's not saving shit. None of this stuff is going to save any of us. It's going to take actual regulatory action. And if we, two things, traditional conservatives and lawbertarians need to get the fuck off the anti-regulatory bandwagon when it comes to the banks and big tech. Speaking as a lawbertarian and former traditional conservative, trust me, I know too many of me. So that's who I'm talking to. You want the solution? I'm telling you. We have to take control of our government. And we have to have them keep our ability to transact business. Because we've still got Ben Shapiro's saying, well, you can't regulate the banks. We've still got those types of guys. They're stuck in a mindset of, 2011? That's gone. It's fucking gone. It was great while it lasted. We don't have it anymore. Companies bucked the model. They broke the model of radical self-interest. But those on the right who don't want to be unpersoned, make sure your legislators and your senators know that they have to regulate the banks. By the way, the banks are so regulated that it's embarrassing. Putting in a regulation, like we are not preserving the integrity of the bank's autonomy by saying, oh, well, they can't cancel. They have to do business with people. The banks have to do business with a bunch of people. Look up redlining, Community Reinvestment Act. Banks already have to do business with a whole bunch of people. The only person the bank doesn't have to do business with is literally you, if you're white. Joseph Moreno says free market banking, not more regulation, is the only real solution. No, it isn't. Free market banking is gone. It's gone. It's a Ron Paul dream. It's fucking dead, man. There is no free market bank. And there hasn't been since the 60s. Redlining literally, like the Community Reinvestment Act, destroyed any last vestiges of the idea that a bank had a free market. Because it literally requires them to open branches in impoverished communities that are a financial drain on the bank for the purposes of lending money. Like, that's it. There's no free market in banking. I mean, people who tell me, this is what blows my mind. People are like, you don't understand the financial system. I'm like, do you even know what Regulation Z is? Do you know what the Community Reinvestment Act is? Do you know what Reg D is? Do you know what Reg CC is? Do you know any of these Do you know how regulated banking is? Do you know how fucking far from a free market banking is? Bitcoin is not a free market bank. It's already regulated. You convert that Bitcoiner when you transfer it. You got to pay taxes on it. Now, they may not have a great enforcement arm on the taxation. Oh, by the way, the Bitcoin that was stolen the other day, remember Bitcoin is untraceable and they took it back. I think it was one of the pipelines or whatever got hacked and they stole a bunch of Bitcoin, like millions of dollars. Well, they took it back. Saw that, right? They undid it. And they'll continue to undo it. Hackers were dumb enough not to withdraw it. It was being held in exchange. Always a fucking Bitcoin excuse. There's always, no, the pure Bitcoin. Guys, if they want it back enough, they're going to undo it. They'll do it through political pressure. They'll jail everyone involved. It's amazing. It's amazing that people think that Bitcoin is immune to this. I don't know. I don't need to know how the Bitcoin system works, Zorn 101, because I know how the government financial system works. And believe me, there is no room for an independent financial system. There is no room for it. It's been tried over and over again. And guess what? No matter what cool, clever solution or alternative thing you have, the government will come for it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Guys, we have 250 years of history just in the United States of every alternative monetary system, every single novel, brilliant idea being regulated and controlled into oblivion. Every one of them, just all of them. I mean, but it's just all of them, though, being controlled 100% of the time. Just every single one with 100% effectiveness. But Bitcoin's going to change it. They said the same thing about literally every other option. And the fact that you have such faith in Bitcoin to outdo the greed of government is cheers to you. I love your optimism. I don't know what the past decade has given you as far as optimism goes, but wherever you're drawing it from, keep it secret, keep it safe, brother. Keep it secret, keep it safe. Mandy Caravicious says, Nick, do you believe lawyers are going to be the saviors of the United States of America in these times of constitution, ignorance, and law breaking? No. Lawyers will save the United States like Hans Lieten saved the Jews in Germany. You don't know the story of Hans Lieten? Hitler confiscated a bunch of Jewish property. Hans Lieten was a Jewish lawyer in Germany, and they sued the National Socialist Movement or Party or whatever, who had control of Germany. And Hans Lieten cross-examined Hitler on the stand for 8 straight hours. 8 hours. He put Hitler in the witness seat, and he devastatingly ripped him apart on cross-examination. Hans Lieten died in a concentration camp, by the way. And the Jews didn't get their property back. Lawyers aren't going to save you. The legal system's not going to save you. So, no, I don't. I mean, look, if lawyers push back on one thing, here's the other problem you got. Most of the lawyers right now, the majority of lawyers right now agree with the government. Ken White represents the majority of lawyers. They agree with the government. They're cucked. They're done as a profession. They're not interested in saving you. They're scared of the virus. They don't like Trump. Oh, he's very uncomfortable. He says mean things from time to time. Now, lawyers won't save you. Mega Lone Wolf 20 says, I work in banking and you're not wrong, Nick. Look, I know I'm not wrong. Banks can unperson you and the only protected people are really minorities. Bitcoin is being tracked by financial institutions and Visa and MasterCard require banks to do it. Yeah. It's you can hold it. And again, the one thing everybody keeps missing on the Bitcoin, Monero, Litecoin, whatever it is, train that you're on. And I love you for it. I really do. I wish I were you. I wish I was smart enough to navigate that system. Okay? Here we go. The person you're giving money to has to do it on the terms that you choose to make it work. The reason I brought up the MasterCard patent and the fact that the point of sale will be controlled by the same people who control point of sale everywhere else in the fucking world right now, the same 3 companies, right? Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. I think Discover uses MasterCard system. Doesn't matter. Oh, and then the online transactions of Stripe and PayPal or whatever. The people who control all that will control the receiving end of consumer purchases under Bitcoin as well. Patent or no fucking patent. They've already got this technology to incorporate it into the point of sale, which is where you transact your business. So yeah, you can go to the based darknet farmer in your area and buy 200 bushels of corn with 0.38 Bitcoin. You can do that. And no one will be able to stop you. That'll be great. If you want to just go buy some fucking milk or like a car, the other person you're buying from will have to comply with your method of delivery and not use the point of sale system that is super convenient for the business that works through the same system that they've been using for the past 50 years. That's the problem. It's not you. It's not your cool thing. It's the person you're doing business with. I mean, I guess you can come up with the idea that you're going to do business with a whole bunch of people who are based in red pilled as you, but the fact is most of them don't exist. They're just trying to make a living. All right. This is enough. This is enough black pilling. I didn't want to talk about this much. It's always the same every time I talk about it. Mario Carter 13 says, to clarify my message from when you were in Seattle, when you promise a Father's Day stream with your dad, then that stream falls through. Then you have a Chad Dad stream where your dad isn't invited. It kind of looks like you think your dad is a beta. No, it's a completely different thing. There's people who I want to have as a specific perspective on the Chad Dad stream. When I have my dad on a stream, I want it to be just my dad. It's not a commentary on my dad. It's a commentary on the rest of the world in its entirety. Monster Girl Supremacist says, hey, Nick, was wondering if you've ever tried Angel's Envy Bourbon and if it was any good. Angel's Envy Bourbon is okay. It's not a bad bourbon. I prefer, though, Angel's Envy finished rye, finished in Caribbean rum casks. That is a great whiskey. Angel's Envy Bourbon is a good whiskey. Angel's Envy finished rye is a great whiskey. I've not gone over the Save the Kids scam that involved FaZe Clan members. No idea about that. But is it as good as Jack Daniels? Okay, so quick story. When we show up at our host's house in Seattle, Ty and I show up, right? He hands me a bottle of Ardbeg, Corvaskin or whatever. Great scotch. He hands Ty a bottle of Angel's Envy, bourbon. And he hands himself a bottle of Angel's Envy finished rye. And Ty says, is this as good as Jack Daniels? And we both laugh. Me and the host. And then Ty takes a drink, and a couple drinks in, Ty goes, well, this is at least as good as Jack Daniels. So there you go. That's that. Skoda Big Johnson says, why are you always late and gay? Look, here's the deal. Yesterday, I spent all day traveling. And then I woke up earlier today than I wanted to. I needed a little more rest. So I was sitting in my massage chair. I got a massage because my neck and back have been shit ever since the plane because I was too stupid to upgrade myself to first class. And so I sat in coach. I'm too tall for coach. I have no hate for people who sit in coach. I'm too tall for it, okay? And so I was very uncomfortable and my neck and back hurt. And so I was sitting in my massage chair. I got that worked out and I fell asleep getting a massage, which is great. Strongly recommend falling asleep getting a massage in a massage chair. It's the greatest fucking thing. So that's why I was late and gay today. Phoebes Z, welcome to Paralegal Status. Thank you. Wolfgang Deo says, your mic worked fine when you started, now muted. It is Hailson says, Nick, you're still muted and Kentaro Miura died before he could rule on the Vic Mignogna appeals. I'm almost convinced they're never coming. No ruling. Wolfgang Deo says, bro, your OBS may be throttling, but still muted. Mario Carter 13 says, Jim came back from the dead just to laugh at Biden. Yes, and he did. I want to watch that whole stream. The part that I saw was, well, you guys are talking about me blackpilling. Holy shit. I watched 10 minutes of Jim blackpilling, and all I wanted to do was find a razor. That's it. Jesus. Breck, I flew from Seattle to Minnesota. Wrestler Town says, Eldon Bainling needs to come back immediately. I have to give him these Target gift card numbers before they arrest my grandson. Oh, damn it. Wolfgang says, I'm streaming on Wednesday all day. Probably watch you. Sounds good. Harvey Weinstein says, which lawyer wins in a fist fight, Tom or Devin? Tom, attorney Tom. Because he will have that one chick step on him and she will beat up Devin. Mario Carter 13 says, no dogs left behind. It's Afghanistan, not Australia. There's still Americans and dogs left in Afghanistan, apparently. No American servicemen. They're all gone, but there's still Americans there. That was admitted to by according to some general. I can't remember his name. He said, we didn't get everybody we wanted out. And we got the majority of Americans out. Okay. Thermasius 1980 says, a couple of ideas for Pro-Hate Wednesday day stream. Painting stream or try Destiny, the game. Can skip the horrible story and it's crossplay. We'll see. We'll see. Ass Crush 'em. Welcome to Paralegal Status. Thank you. Patrick McHugh says, Nick, I'm happy to see you've been freed from your hostage situation in Seattle. Also, in protests on Twitch, you should hate on everyone not streaming. That's a long list. Shagaval says, damn, Boomer, I've seen a lot of shoops in my day, but this looks shoop to me. Silly Boomer can't tell what's real or fake on the internet. Wait, what? The fat stomach? I did the Photoshop. Like, I did it. Is that what you're talking about? ASO says, Ethan Ralph, Debt Collector, Netflix original series. That sounds good. No Drex show this weekend. And I probably won't have a show on Friday. It's possible I may do a short stream, but I'm not gonna be home Friday night. So we'll have to see what happens there. Stream Hero 77. I cannot talk about the Seattle stuff. I will at some point in the hopefully near future. I'll talk about it then. Shagaval says, damn boomer, I've seen a lot of wait, I read that. ASL Wolfgang Deo says, why are courts allowed to be prejudiced and not us? It's a good question. Sam Pack says, what was with the vaccine simp? Are you and Ty going to business with the CEO of Pfizer? God, I wish, man. You know how good of a grift that is? Wolfgang Deo says, this was a $2,000 super chat, Susan, though. Yeah, someone sent Jim a $2,000 super chat. You can't. 500 is the max that you can send on super chat. You'd have to send multiple 500s. Wolfgang Deo says, is it illegal for me to nuke a hurricane? Yes, for you. But they've talked about similar strategies because apparently controlling... There's a thought. I was reading a thing about a study on this. There's a thought that controlling the atmospheric temperature near the eye of a hurricane could actually direct its path. And they talked about putting up a satellite that would actually shoot microwaves into the atmosphere and heat up, a couple degrees in certain ways to draw a hurricane. Could you imagine how fucking bad that would be? The U.S. sends a satellite up and just sends a hurricane right over Cuba and leaves it there. That'd be great. Patrick McHugh says, did you see the news about Trudeau possibly losing in Canada and all the protesters dumping all over him? Also, I'm in your walls and trapped. I hope he loses. Trudeau is he's a bane upon, a pox upon Canada. Patrick McHugh says, the spiders have found me and are prejudiced. The spiders are trying to vaccinate me. No, Patrick, hold on. Mario Carter 13 says, fat chicks be like skinny chicks are unrealistic. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Cemetery Lady says, really weird that Netflix is cool with sexualizing kids and cuties, but making an adult female sexy like the character she's based off of is a step too far. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? They're just fine with sexualizing children. That's a great point. Not applicable says, I mean, Faye fights some. She's not athletic. Sure. Patrick McHugh says, bro, that girl looks like Jim Carrey's The Mask. Tenjin Kin says, Spike Spiegel is Jewish. Faye Valentine is Chinese. Some weird race casting gymnastics. They cast an Asian Spike and Hispanic Faye. Captain Kerfuffle says, just look up Faye cosplay and it proves them all wrong. True. Samantha Schoner says, just wanted to say thanks everyone for the thoughts and prayers for my uncle who's in the hospital with COVID. Unfortunately, he passed away due to complications. Please keep us in your thoughts. Samantha, sorry to hear that. That sucks. It really does suck. Gummy says, gonna watch you in VR, Nikki. Your nose will be curved. Okay. Serial Foxity says, can I just say that no one ever anticipates live adaptations? We all know they're going to be trash forever. Hunter Thompson says, guarantee they make Ed trans or something, even though Ed specifically says she's a girl. Vacu Simago says, did she start as an extra from the Evil Dead series? Bentham says, when they cast people, they ask for specific things. They wanted a person that looked like her. Yes. Like you said, it's all on the casting director. And they really should not have put Daniella Pineda in the position of defending the casting decision. It wasn't her call. I mean, sure. Look, a bunch of people. I want to play Superman in a DC movie. I would make millions of dollars. It would be great. I would be the worst fucking Superman on the planet. My body does not look like Superman. There's a reason Henry Cavill plays Superman, right? And if they cast me, everybody would be rightly pissed at the casting director. Fuck, everybody's mad at the what's his face? Robert Pattinson Batman. Because Robert Pattinson has never been big. There's a look, and you cast the look as well as the acting. And again, if you think Daniella Pineda was cast for her acting chops, There's something else going on. Maybe they already had like Netflix had a pre-existing contract with her, or the producer did. Who knows? And they're like, okay, well, we've got this person we can use. Maybe there's a weird personal connection. I don't know. Maybe she fucked someone. I don't know. Who knows? Some reason they chose a person. Actually, what I think is most likely is they wanted to subvert the Faye look because they have a personal animus towards, quote unquote, the male gaze. Gaze, not Gays. But they have a personal animus against it, and they want to, quote unquote, make a point. Because everybody right now who has adhered to traditional ideas of female beauty are trying to undermine that all over the place. It's in vogue to subvert the idea that a tall, leggy, chesty chick that literally every guy would swoon over. They want to subvert the idea that that chick is valuable. And they want to make some other girl valuable artificially. Lots of guys think Daniella Pineda is hot. There's no reason to try and boost her over some other girl. Like, lots of guys like that body type. It's fine. It's fine. It's just not Faye. That's the problem. But that's my personal opinion. Is someone said, I'm going to show the world, which should never be the opening sentence of someone's mission statement on a remake. Woo! Damn. I'm going to show them. No, don't. Just don't. Just make the fucking movie. But yeah, they could put me in as Superman in like a parody, right? Where I look like a dumpy idiot like myself, but I have super strength anyway. That'd be kind of funny as a joke, but that's not the superhero movie. That's the parody movie. Call it Super Hams, a story of my fucking stomach. There you go. There you go. When they run out of bacon at the store, I punch the manager out the fucking earth. Wolvenar, no, we're doing Twitch tonight. We're not too far from being done. Base Crocodile says, how dare you peasants criticize us is how all elitists take criticism. Of course you'll gaslight the fans. Wokeism is top-down corner cutting. And Mark Kern has really good takes on this right now. He's like, it would have blown over if she would have just shut her fucking mouth. I added the fucking, because I always bring the fucking. Andrew 46 and 2 says, sounds like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. Wrestler Town says, we need to find our live action Faye. But where could we possibly find a hot girl who can act selfish, manipulative, and unreliable? It's not possible. Oh, damn it. I got grifted right into that. Here we go. Here's my look. I brought this up on the Cecil stream the other day. Let's see. I just want to point out proof that the Faye body type exists. And hold on, here you go. The Faye Valentine body type is real. It exists. It's a real thing. That's a real woman. She's also an actress. She's also a model. She exists. These are real people. Booba too small? No. Actually, this girl has bigger breasts than Faye does. Believe it or not. That's Emily Ratajkowski. Actually, here's how bad our society has gotten. Emily Ratajkowski was complaining not too long ago. She's had a kid now. She still looks good after having a kid. Prior to having a kid, she was complaining that her large breasts actually prevent her from getting jobs. I'm not even joking. I'm not even kidding. But she has the dimensions of Faye. Thin legs, thigh gap, thin arms, large chest, thin waist. There you go. You could do it. And if you want to see more of her, look up the Robin Thicke Blurred Lines video, but make sure you watch the uncensored version. And you can see how small her chest is for yourself. All right. Very, very important to watch that uncensored version of Blurred Lines. All right. EE fell. EE fell. So since we are in yet another moral panic, a thought occurs to me. Why is it that all these panics are started and maintained by sad, lonely, older women, either single paranoid moms or empty nesters? Because they have nothing else to do. Uncivil law, you're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. Donut Swan says, live action DBZ gets me across the coom line. Stop. That's so fucking bad. Serial Foxy says, there was a poll for Japanese which anime adaptations they would want. Number 1 was none of them. Exactly. Nobody wants these. Anime is fine. Vienticus Prime says, what would you do if I sang out of tune and was forced to sit at the back of the bus? What would you do if I sang out of tune? Matt Deckard says, in America, used to be you delete Twitter. In New Woke America, Twitter delete you. Wolfgang Dale says, what about disabled that can't read lips with masks? Yeah, it doesn't matter for them. Doesn't matter for them. Albatross says, my sister's a former teacher, can confirm they hate everyone and everything. Wolfgang Deo says, let nature take the immunocompromised. Screw it. Let's see. Aliquis Volt Thesis says, if the children were immune compromised, what happened every flu season before 2020 or even any other communicable disease that spreads? Guess all the kids are mandated to wear masks. And that's at the end of the day, that's the reality that's coming, right? It's to mandate masks forever. 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 Kyle Cowden says, at 1.4 microns, these stupid masks don't stop anything but spit. Even the N95 only partially stops it. And OSHA told my department 45 minutes on, 2 hours off. Wolfgang Deo says, smash that damn like button 909. Well, we're long past that now. Brimstone AVM says, thanks for all you do. It's the best damn late night show of all time, especially when Drex is on. God bless you and yours. Take care and peace. Peace. That umbrella guy says he cried like a Gundam fan. Snuggle Struggle. God damn it. Snuggle Struggle says, Discord now considers Antifa a spelling error. Wasn't like that a few weeks ago. I wonder if they think Antifa is a myth, just like our commie leaders. They're just making it more. It's all about minor inconveniences. Like I tried to type gay on my phone earlier, and it changed gay to game. Like I'm clearly saying gay. 3 letters. 3 letters that are not anywhere near M and E. Like, it fucking good Lord. Siberius says, Civil War propaganda permeates judiciary courts. Any legitimate argument of states' rights was unfortunately destroyed by the federalization of the United States. S. Cyber Taz says, Donga late for work. He would have to be willing to have a job, then be garnished in order to support his 4 sons in order to work. He's Caucasian. He has 4 kids. God. Snuggle Struggle says the vocal minority, not majority, wants USA to be a democracy, not a republic. They get their way. They'd immediately scream it wasn't done right. Ishaelson says, you see what happened with Santa Chappelle, mother of one of the fallen soldiers. She shared her pain and rightfully blamed Biden for what happened. Now she's banned off all the social medias. There you go. Remember when they used to interview all of the people who like Bush killed or whatever? I remember those interviews. Doc BBC says height 74 inches, weight 190 pounds equals BMI 24.4. Normal weight range 18.5 to 24.9. Overweight 25 to 29.9. Obese 30 plus. Exercise for good health. Love your vids / streams. Yeah, I'm working on figuring that out. Uncivil Law. I have 5 kids. No, you don't know Tonka. Tonka has 4 kids, but no woman would ever admit that they're his. That's the difference. Snuggle Struggle says, didn't they cheat towards Trump's second impeachment too? They literally lied to force through impeachment and Democrats all voted yes. Truly evil. Yeah, but impeachment has always been a political rather than legal solution. I probably have all that extra weight from having all those kids. Look, and I can't hold my pee in anymore either because my vagina has been violated by children. Passing through them. Mario Carter 13 says some Austrian painter was red-pilled on the bankers. Stop it. IWD, welcome to super lawyer status. Thank you for joining. Vienticus Prime says free market is a red herring. Name one time a power vacuum realistically existed in history without some internal or external intervention. None. When is number 6 due? No, we're done. Curry-sama says the reason they got caught stealing Bitcoin was because they basically robbed a bank truck of all its marked bills and then took them back to that bank. Yep. But make no mistake. It's if Bitcoin beats the government now, the government will beat Bitcoin soon. Because they're greedy. That's why. Malik Foxon says, internet went out during your stream. Thank God for LTE. Thought I was going to miss the show. Mandy Carvacia says, did you see Woke Candyman yet, Nick? No, I have not. I don't want to. Oh, Nick Surge says, today marks the beginning of week 3 in the hospital with COVID. Holy damn, brother. Stay alive. Rogue says, here's $5 for a drink, Nick. Successfully got my black tail off the Democrat plantation to official unaffiliated status. And it feels good. That is drink worthy. I'm not going to do a whole one. We'll do a little one. And yes, it will be movie night on Twitch in just a little bit. We're really close to done. I'm not sure what movie, but it's movie night. Just a little liquor. Mario Carter 13 says, subverting expectations is a creative dead end. Malik Foxon says, bless you, Nick. Make sure you wash your hands. Never. I lick them clean. Space Monkey 0899 says, kings can plot against God. God laughs. Lawyers are mercenaries. Society abandoning men and male gaze will collapse. Yeah. We'll see how long it takes. That's the question. It's a testament, by the way, to the men who built America that society is lasting as long as it has when they turned on the men so long ago. It's a testament to what has been built. It's really actually depressing if you think about it that way. We've built such a resilient system that despite all of the fuckery, we're still going. Serious Joker says something vague to say that I mean thank you, Nick. Thanks, buddy. Iric Bloodaxe says Lieutenant Colonel Scheller didn't kill himself. I don't know who that is. Lightning Lunatic says, hey, Nick, I don't catch your streams often, but your short vids are a breath of fresh air. Many thanks. I should be receiving volumes 1 through 3 of Berserk tomorrow, so fun reading ahead. Keep up the good fight. I know I will. Damn. Yeah. I mean, all we can do is keep talking. Like, really, there's not a ton more. Talk. We still have a representative democracy of some set. I know many people are disheartened about the level of representation, but for now, that's our option. That and revolution. Kool-Aid Man says, "Oh yeah, Nick, I sent you an amazing offer on Friday when you were in Seattle for business. The offer still stands. I'm a bit late, but totally not gay, so if you read it, let me know. Also, I got a blowjob from a blind girl, but she slapped my elbow. Classy. Disgusting. All right, guys, that's the show. We're done. That's it. Nothing more. And I will see you over on Twitch. I'll play the outro. Thanks for hanging out. Guys, you make this show the most fun thing. I don't know how else to say it. And there's a shitload more coming down the pike. So we've got more shows. We've got more gimmicks and antics. And I appreciate it. And I really do. I really do. It's always fun to do the show because you guys always show up. So thanks for hanging out. We'll see you over on Twitch. Catch you guys soon. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a bow, more a love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the team post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law